Did, Jess. We talked about it yesterday. We'll talk about it again today. What's up, Smoking Blondie? Good to see you. I love that by BUNKBED COFFIN. That's Oh I Know. It was such a good song. Such a good song. What's going on? What's up, Edward? Jess, we'll talk about what Kansas did again if you missed it yesterday. And you can compare it directly to 1930s Germany. I'm going to play another BUNKBED COFFIN song.
Alright, here goes nothing.
This is BUNKBED COFFIN, link in the description. Pam Shashita, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Ashamed to be American, not gonna lie. Been so since Bush was in office. I would say been ashamed to be American since Reagan. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. As a trans person, the Kansas situation, the federal prison force detransition thing is horrible. It is anti-American to its core. What's up, Primal Screams? Good to see you again. Good to see you. I was born in the 90s. Okay, Pam. Okay, you were born in the 90s. Fair enough. You can still be ashamed for Reagan. We can all still be ashamed for Reagan. That's so funny. All right, touche, Pam. Number one, welcome. I'm Rob, host the, what do you call it, weekday live stream, comment on the news, comment on all sorts of things. This is just a safe community, okay? That's what this is, number one. It's not safe if you're an oppressive tyrant or what are these degenerates, these perverted degenerates that, you know, their debaucherous actions where they claim in the name of the Lord, we got to do this. But, you know, every action they take is anti-people and anti-humanity and anti-freedom. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, join the movement. And this is 100%, I stand arm in arm with all my trans fam. I have many trans friends. And I will never understand until the day I stop breathing, and until after that, the people that claim this is the land, this is the freest land in the world, but then want to tell people they can't be who they are. I will never, forever, and a day understand that, and I will always stand with all my trans fam, my trans friends, the LGBTQ community. I mean, I love everybody. I hate twatsies. I hate oppressors. I hate bullies and tyrants, but trans people, you good by me. You fam here. Hit subscribe. And this is a safe place. Anybody tries to give you shit, just mute them. Mute them up. Yep, there's one. There's one. You tell me to be quiet while I'm talking about my, the trans community I'm trying to explain that I support. I'm trying to leave, but if my passport gets revoked. See, and this is what I stand for. Montreal, Quebec in the house. Hey, what's up, Montreal? I'm muted? Am I muted? Magamorons, show yourselves. What's up, Stephelson? Good to see you. Thank you, Primal Screams. Let me say, Montreal is an absolutely beautiful city. I used to go there. Thank you, Jess. I used to go there quite often. And it's such a gorgeous fucking city, but it's so easy to get in trouble in when you're young. Bob Bilota, I don't know how to pronounce that, but I love Montreal. Even the jails there were nice. Let me say that. The police officers were not that nice, but the jails were amazing, you know? The jails were impeccable compared to the American ones. Let me just say that. We'll just keep it at that. I've shared too much. Don't visit the USA. It is not safe. It is really not. What is it, St. Catherine Street, Bob? That's still like the hot spot. Oh, and they're gyros. I know they're called gyros. The gyros up in Montreal. Oh my God. And half the people speak French. This is just such a cool city. Good God. Like and subscribe, brother. Respect from London. Oh, we got London in the house. What's up? Hey, I was watching a whole bunch of stuff. What part of Great Britain won with the Green Party? That's huge news for the people. A socialist plumber won some kind of election. I'm just not dived into it because right now I'm so focused on what's going on here. But London, if you could fill me in a little bit, there's this lady who's a socialist plumber who just won some kind of pre-term election. I don't know how shit runs in England, but if you want to break it down for me, please do. I love getting educated. Manchester North, okay. Now, let me ask you, are you in support of that? We here on this channel are all for the radical woke left, socialism, power to the people being able to afford basic things. Egg, that's a big joke here in America. Everyone voted last election to have egg price lowered. So I just call egg everything. That's housing, healthcare, ambulance rides, what else? Paid time off, guaranteed sick time. Egg is a metaphor for everything. It was a local election. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't get to dive too much into it. It's been so hectic today. My apologies, everybody, for going like an hour and a half late. I meant to be here earlier. Luxury egg, Pam, you get it. Everybody wants that luxury egg. Look at this. Is he bitching about Trump again? Moto Toad, you don't understand the difference between bitching and wanting somebody to be held accountable. I'm going to play audio for you. Actually, let's just do it right now. Here's the dude. I want everybody to understand who Moto Toad, good name for you because you're a toad, who he supports. He supports the guy who how old was he? How fucking old was he? He was 57 at the time, and this is him on Howard Stern talking about Lindsay Lohan. Now, before I play this audio, which you can look up, Howard Stern was a big radio guy. I was on the air at the same time he was. And Donald Trump will call in and brag about being a pervert, you know, a 57, 60-year-old wanting. Yesterday I played the audio where he said, I have no age limit. And then he said, well, 12 years old. So this 60-year-old back in 2006 said, 12 is my limit, which is, you know, cool in Toad's book. Toad cheers that on. He's like, you know what? When my daughter turns 12, I'd like him to bang a 60-year-old. That's Toad's take on life. So just so you know, when MAGA comes in here and they start chirping about Trump and defending him and at all costs, even if it completely wipes out their morality and ethics and they just look like an absolute pathetic, you know, degenerate, I just want you to understand who they're supporting. So here's the audio. Hold on.
Lindsay Lohan.
I think she's hot.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
57-year-old saying, I've seen a close-up of that 17-year-old's chest. Lindsay Lohan, a minor at the time, 17.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
If the father's a wreck like the way he is,
Right.
you imagine this troubled.
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day.
How come the deeply troubled women,
Yes.
deeply, deeply troubled,
Right.
they're always the best in bed? If for some reason what I said is true, I mean, they're just unbelievable.
I could tell from the...
You don't want to be with them for the long term, but for the short term, there's nothing like it.
So just so you know, we punch Nazis around here. That's right. Nazis don't get a voice in this live stream, okay? So if you're going to cry, go cry to Tim Pool or something. Go cry to Donald Trump or something. We don't support you twatsies, okay? A Trump is never served for his country. Yeah, it's funny. Who you calling little boy? You PDF protector? PDF protector? Get out of here. Trump's grandfather was a draft dodger from Germany. That's why he migrated here. And then Donald Trump, if you don't remember, he got bone spurs only during Vietnam. It was a weird way to get bone spurs just for the duration of the Vietnam War, but he did. Never mind that the doctor owed his dad a favor, and his dad is the reason he has all the money, and he failed upwards. But, yeah. So just know when you hear those people coming in. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Again, my apologies. I'm gonna play some bunk bed coffin. 5-time bone spur deferment. 5-time bone spur. Oh, we're gonna get into this. Did you guys see this new photo? This was from The Daily Show. You know when people come in the chat and they say TDS, that's The Daily Show. We don't acknowledge that other one, and please don't put it in the chat. If you do, you're probably gonna get blocked. I hate to say it. I think we got a thing on for TDS that it just mutes people. But The Daily Show made this hilarious image where, remember Howard Lutnick said he never ever hung out with Jeff Epstein until he got caught under oath, and then said he went once to the island. Well, it turns out there were some more times, and there were photos of it. This has since been taken down from the justice.gov website, but not before everybody could get their hands on it and meme it. So this is absolutely awesome. We're going to talk about this. We're also going to talk about this. There are some companies stepping the fuck up. And I need to share that with you. You know, I don't play Cards Against Humanity, but apparently Cards Against Humanity gives you your fucking money back. I'm going to let you read this. I got to go take care of something real quick. This is Bunk Bed Coffin.
All right.
Screaming Mime. Link in the description. Support local art.
I wanna be everything what I am. I try to get away from me if I can. 'Cause it's time to pay, time to pay me.
Okay. Sorry. That is Screaming Mime, Bunk Bed Coffin. Please support local art. Please support local art. NJ Cave Explorer, what's up? Good to see you again. I made the mistake of taking NJ Cave Explorer comment wrong the other day, so it's good to see you back. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. And my apologies for that mess up the other day. I feel bad about that, you know? That's the whole thing about being a leftist. We want to hold ourselves accountable, and we want to build community, not break it up. But we will not tolerate tyrants. So good to see NJ Cave Explorer back. MAGA, you're free to debate. Here we go. Steffelson will break it down. MAGA, you are free to debate, but please use complete sentences, punctuation, correct spelling, or we might not be able to understand you. More importantly, just don't repeat yourself all the time. You know, add to the conversation. Here, you can say, look, that's fucking cool. As you might have heard, Donald Trump loves tariffs. He doesn't ask, he just tariffs. That is funny as fuck. When you're famous, you don't have to ask. You can just grab them by the tariffs. When you're the president, they let you do it. Whoever wrote this, high five. In a rare example of American government still kind of functioning, the Supreme Court finally declared, after waiting for no reason, that Donald Trump's obviously illegal tariffs are obviously illegal. But it's too late for you. You already overpaid for everything because America's big retailers passed over 90% of their tariff costs onto you, their customers, by marking everything up. So if you bought Cards Against Humanity stuff from us over the past year, you likely got fucked. Now corporate America, preeminent dipshits and douchebags are all lining up to get their tariff refunds from the government, something like $200 billion in total. Let's be real. They're keeping that money for themselves, but not Cards Against Humanity. We're going to give you your fucking money back. Hold on. If you overpaid for one of our games, click the button below and fill out the form. Then when the Trump administration gives us our tariff refund, we won't keep it. We'll give you 100% of the money back. Our loyal customers who make our business possible love Cards Against Humanity. I thought that was absolutely amazing by them. Great statement. Hopefully they stand by that. Again, I don't buy that stuff, but it's it's cool to see some companies actually appreciating the people that make them companies. Um, what's up, Natasha? What is Brandon doing? Is he just... Besides talk, we have a huge community here, Brandon. Instead of trying to instigate people, you should try to collaborate with people. That's what organizing is. It's a very simple thing. If you don't know, you never organized before. We're going to talk about these losers in a second. Organizing is just finding out how people are, where they're at, and if they want to join in community together. It starts simple and then becomes very difficult to progress. Organizing just starts with, hey, how you doing? And once you find somebody's disgruntled in something, you agitate that. You show them that you care about that too. You get them to understand that you guys are of the same consciousness. You have more in common than you do apart. Because most people want a roof over their head, don't want to go into debt for healthcare, and want egg. It's very simple. And once people start to understand that, that's what I would like to think is revolutionary optimism. That all of us are willing to set aside minutia differences. You know, like I want gas 20 cents off, and I don't care about gas being 20 cents off. Like, we could set those things aside and come together and be like, hey, if you get really sick, you shouldn't have to worry about missing work. Remember that Aflac commercial? Aflac. Like only in America, where they're like, hey, buy an insurance in case you get sick. That's fucking crazy, man. You want to hear something fucking real crazy? We're going to go over some news and we're going to go into some stuff. There's some absolutely horrific things happening. Is this what? No. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Where is my Luigi? Where's my man? Where's my man, Luigi? Luigi. Oh, is it way back here? Hold on one second. Where's my Luigi? My handsome boy. My handsome boy. Here it is. Here we go. All right. Look at this. In case you're not on Twitter, don't go there. It's a white supremacist waste space. But Angry Red Ink, I don't know who that is, said, Cigna just sent my dead wife, who succumbed to cancer last August, a denial letter for a test to help diagnose her tumor markers. What the is even going on with medical insurance companies? She left this world 6 months ago because she couldn't get proper treatment. And this just says, we don't hate them enough. That's all it does. So, I don't need to show you more. And then the dude posted a denial. This is like, I don't mean to laugh, but it's like, this is dystopian stuff. And you shouldn't have to think, oh, what a liberal. Like some dude watched yesterday's live stream and said, 2 minutes in, I could tell you're a liberal. And I'm like, and 3 words in, and I could tell you were a moron. Because I say many times, I'm not a liberal, I'm not a Democrat, and I'm certainly not a Republican, I'm not a fascist. I'm a radical socialist. So that means I don't believe we need these corporate powers to exploit all our worth. You know, that surplus of our labor that we don't get paid enough. That's why everyone wanted to vote for egg. They wanted egg cheaper because in order for capitalism to work, they don't pay us our full worth, and they exploit that and they extract that, and it goes right out of our communities to these gated communities where all the elites high five and play slap ass together. Okay? So as a socialist, I believe we don't need that bourgeois class, and the only way out of this is a class war, which we're in right now. And what you see happening here, where this clearly distraught husband is tweeting about this, because you got to think he's sharing this with the world, man, that his wife who died just got a denial letter to test to diagnose her tumor markers. She already died of cancer, and our healthcare system works so amazingly, right, MAGA? MAGA, America's the best. Donald Trump's State of the Union, nothing's ever been better. We're booming. We're booming, right? This is booming. This dude's wife, who passed away from cancer, just got a denial letter 6 months after her death for not being able to utilize the health care they pay for. If this doesn't want to make you burn it all down. Like, one of the funniest comments I've seen under this, I should have taken a picture of it. Someone said, if I was president, I would give Luigi 10 presidential pardons with he said I would give Luigi 10 blank presidential pardons and wish him the best. I said that comment won the day. Because, I mean, what are you going to say? Capitalism doesn't rectify human life. Therefore, socialism is needed to ensure it. Yup. Oh, what's up, G-Man? I didn't see you sneak in. Sneak in. And for all the people who say, like, hey, I'm scared of socialism, I want you to just consider why. Most of you don't know what it means. Most people just say redistributing wealth. Yeah, that's what taxes are. Essentially, you're paying your wealth to redistribute it. But right now, where does it go? Right now, where does your taxes go? You're paying for Israel's healthcare, which, by the way, today marks a historic day. All the propaganda by AIPAC and all those other, big money interests that buy off our politicians to make Americans convinced that, Israel and the United States are interlinked some way or another. Today, I think it was 41% have more sympathy for Palestinians and 36 Israelis. So there is something to be said about that Americans can kind of see through the propaganda. It takes them a long time, and it takes a lot of violence, but they get it. They get it eventually. Which, revolutionary optimism, that's a good thing. That says, hey, we can shatter that glass that they're staring through, thinking they're seeing the world. But with socialism, most people just say, oh, it's redistributing wealth. They couldn't tell you anything else. They say, what are you, a Marxist? I go, yeah, you know what that means? Do you know what that theory means? Have you studied it? Are you saying you as a worker hate yourself so much that you just are obedient and subservient to the elites, to the ones who are not paying you enough? They're extracting your surplus and taking it out of the community so small businesses and you yourself can't survive? That's the whole basis for capitalism. That's the whole basis. They don't care if you live or die. But I would just, encourage people to think about why you use socialism as this bad word. When the military is socialism, the police department, fire department, the mail, Social Security, all of FDR's great achievements of pushing for, these collective work efforts and restructuring the country into something where you could take care of old people when they couldn't work and help young people get an education and, that's socialism. So it's really confusing to me when people throw it around like it's some name-calling word. Like, if anything, you don't want to be called a fascist, okay? You don't want to be called Twatsy. You don't want to be called a maggot, because we know what that stands for, right? Molesters are granted amnesty. You know what I mean? You just don't want to be protecting these elite pedos, That's all MAGA stands for now. That's it. They're just so sunken cost fallacy into Donald Trump. They're like, what am I going to do with these digital trading cards? I bought so many Donald Trump fireman space guy great digital trading cards. I can't sell them now, That they're just committed to the cause. But socialist, like Fred Hampton said, if you're scared of socialism, you're scared of yourself, and I would encourage you to look into it. Agreed, Alma. Alma's here? What's up, Alma? Propaganda, day one on American education. 100%. And that's why I wanted to point out, when the people that throw around socialism like it's a slur, like you're, like, like you're some Karen using the N-word, you should really look into why you think that without even understanding it, Like, I want you to do that work. I can't do the work for you. I've done my work. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm speaking. Yeah, see, these are the people that, like Snow Monkey, you should really look into it, man. I know socialism scares you, and the next thing you'll probably tweet is or chat is, "Where has it ever worked?" You know, which is brilliant. You know, because I know you don't read. I know you don't read books. I know you don't read about South America in the '70s and the coups by the CIA and Milton Friedman. I know that you think socialism is failing in Cuba, but you don't look at all of the embargoes and how Cuba has been cut off from the rest of the world by America, including right now. They're trying to starve them out. So if socialism truly failed, I would just ask you, why does America have to suffocate it? You know, but that's okay. You're not here to think. You're just here to protect your ego at all costs. You know, the fragile mind of the American propagandist really cannot be challenged. And that's why they either get violent or they just say stupid stuff or they just leave, like I'm guessing you probably did. Back to the basics of class warfare. Excellent, Rob. Oh, thank you, Jima. I appreciate that. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling better from the last comment you left me with your update. I hope everything is going well. But yeah, we had to get to the basics because everything, you know what? Gma's here. I want to play a classic. I know Gma. Well, before I play a classic, let's get into a little comedy because comedy is the splitting divide that can really show you the insights to the class war like no other art form can. That's why MAGA joked about legalizing comedy, but none of them are comics. And then when the comments satirized them, they tried to silence them. It's because comedy is probably the most dangerous art form. Why do you think Joe Rogan called the comics like assassin ninjas or whatever he said, you know? He's not one, he's not. But here's George Wallace. Love George Wallace. He tweeted this today. He said, "Yo mama's so stupid, she thinks a trans Somalian is going to force her to gay marry a socialist drag queen during a Spanish halftime show." I love George Wallace. George Wallace is on Twitter, and I don't even know how old he's a comic from the old days. And that dude is going after MAGA hardcore every day, and I will forever and a day just love this man. But oh wait, I didn't take a picture of. We're just gonna throw this up because I thought this was hilarious. Hold on. Dylan loves Posh. Kerala, India, socialist, lowest infant mortality, lowest general mortality, best education system. I lived there for 2 years on and off. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. So thank you for the information. Well, and if you look at like Cuba's doctor to citizen ratio, they have the highest in the world. I know a guy from LA who moved to Cuba to become a doctor. Cuba has a lung cancer vaccine. I mean, it's here. Okay. I'm going to play a little bit of audio and then we got to get to some news, some real news. But, you know, while we're still just getting into the groove of things and we're laying the groundwork for stuff, I think it's vital to understand a couple of things. This is one of my, I don't know if you call him a hero or just somebody, a mentor. You know, he never mentored me, but I would consider George Carlin a mentor. Because my mom always bought me, whenever he released a book, my mom, it was a Christmas, Valentine's, whatever, you know, always. We had all of his VHS up until the 90s. We had his CDs. I mean, this was essential reading, listening, watching in my household. And I have returned the favor with my children once they come to the age where you can play this Carlin stuff for them. So I just played this for you because we got to really lay the groundwork for what we're talking about. That George Carlin spells it out funnier and more philosophical than any comedian ever has about the class war, because that's what this is. Oh, hold on. Sorry. And this is 3 minutes, so, you know, hang tight, folks.
There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners.
The real owners of this country. Hold on. Peggy Baker. This is what frosts me. I like that you said frosts me. Okay. Bring you. Hold on. Gma said bring your mama jokes back. Yes. Yo, can we please start that in 2026? Please. I 100% agree. People should be able to express differences without being subjected to insults. So uncool. Now, Peggy, I'm pausing George Carlin real quick. I agree with you, but here's the thing. You have to consider what your difference of opinion is, okay? Because right now in America, this whole country has slid so far to the right that certain people think a difference of opinion is wanting to regulate someone else's body, is wanting to oppress somebody else, is wanting to make somebody else illegal. So you have to consider, and this is why it's so important that people understand the propagandized American mind, because they just think, well, this is, I say it all the time and I'll repeat myself, and I need you to understand that words mean something. So here in America, the land of the free, when you say trans people shouldn't exist, you're saying, I want you fucking gone. You shouldn't be a reality because you threaten my ego. You threaten my existence by just existing, which is a stupid fucking thing to say. And that's just an example. I'm not saying you say it, but you see this all the time, right? And those same people proudly wear an American flag and say, we're the land of the free, we're the freest nation in the world. But then they're like, you know, women shouldn't be able to decide if they get to choose what to do with their own bodies. And it's like, Peggy, you got to understand the hypocrisy of that. The hypocrisy of that. Or you could go to, you know, people shouldn't be able to marry who they want to marry. The hypocrisy of that is like, none of that shit affects you. None of that. But what your opinion does is try to eradicate humans. So that's dangerous, and I wouldn't even call that opinion, and that's why I say we just don't tolerate that here. And I understand it's very difficult for some Americans to understand what I'm talking about. That's why we're going to lay the baseline, is because you've been manipulated to think that somehow if trans immigrants that I don't let's try to use all the fear-mongering stuff the right uses. Trans Somali immigrants, like that George Wallace tweet, trans Somali immigrants that married a Puerto Rican Bad Bunny existed, that your life would get worse. And what I'm trying to get at is that's bullshit. You've been fed that lie to prey on your fears. I don't know, maybe you're a little racist, maybe you have some deep unanswered questions that you hesitate to address within yourself, whatever it is. I don't know the insecurities that drive these people towards such hatred, but I do know it is rooted in fear. I do know that for a fact. And the only reason I say that is because look at any Republican convention. They crash Grindr, but this is the party of conservative values where they don't think gay people should have a say, or I don't even know what their platform is anymore. So it's like it's deep insecurities, which I always say here, you know, just be who the fuck you want to be. Like that guy that was, or the boy, remember on the internet when they were like, the news was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? He's like, I want to be a turtle. I fully support that. I fully fucking support that. I think in the greatest country in the world, the freest country in the world, you should grow up and be a fucking turtle. And that's awesome. And I'll throw my tax money in. I'd rather throw my tax money into that kid growing up to be a turtle than fucking, you know, some other country getting healthcare, or fucking creating more drones to fucking surveil us, or to bail Elon Musk out of another fucking failed company that he bought into. Like, I want my money to make that kid's dream come true. That'd be fucking awesome. And most likely you do too. That's why GoFundMe does really fund a lot of stuff, pathetically, in America. But people just want to act tough, you know? So I'm really trying to get people to the page that I'm on, you know? And the page that I'm on is, we're beyond that shit. If you're expressing opinions like that, you need to either drop it out the fucking door, or understand that, like, we're not in that debate. You know, if you're like, we need to regulate this, like, we're beyond you. We're building a new world here, okay? From the ashes of the old. So I don't know what you were frosted over, Peggy. Hold on. Sorry, the comments were, hold on. The comments were frozen. I'm so sorry. We probably agree on a lot. See, that's amazing, Peggy. That's amazing. Hold on. Sorry. I was the best woman at my gay friend's wedding. Look at that. Look at that, Peggy. I guess where I fall down is I'm big on respect. Yeah, and Peggy, that's a good thing. That's not where you fall down. Oh, Jazzy's here. What's up, Jazzy? A flatterer studies your weaknesses to use them. A loyal one studies your weaknesses to protect you. God damn it. Jazzy is releasing a book, and I cannot wait. I don't have much money, but I will buy it, and I want to buy it directly from Jazzy because I don't want to buy it through Amazon or some third party. Um, God bless Jazz. I love when Jazzy comes in. Jazzy, the thing is I try to look for stuff like that to show at the end of the show, and he's just firing them off. That's what we should do, Jazzy. If you're, I don't know how long we'll go, but actually, you just feel free to do what you want. But I was gonna say, if you're here at the end, save a gem for us, and we'll reflect. I think it's good for us to all reflect, including myself. I don't know all the answers, but I do know whatever the fuck is happening right now is not working, and the focus on marginalized people, and that's what I was gonna say. So, Peggy. Where you fall down, Peggy says, I guess where I fall down is I'm big on respect. That's not where you fall down. That's where you stand up. But what are you standing up for? What do you want to be respected for? And this is the question that I would just ask you to ask yourself, you know, because if you say something off the cuff, right? And you see this all the time. That's why World Star got big. That's why you see these viral fights or these people that almost get into it at a gas station because people are demanding respect when you don't need to. You know what I mean? Like, I would demand respect if you know, let's say you said something nasty about one of my trans family, right? I would stand the line for that. That's one where you go, no, you're going to show some respect. But if it's an off the cuff or like you stepped in front of me or you bumped into, you know what I mean? So that's where like the falling down for, you know, where I fall down is I'm big on respect, can get a little tricky. But Peggy, if you're just standing up for solid fucking human values and inalienable rights endowed by our creator for other people's, you should always stand up for respect. I like that. Rob, off topic, but the lady that wrote your favorite book was on Mehdi Hassan the other day. Naomi Klein was? A recent interview? Are you serious? I love fucking Naomi. I look up her old interviews. She's so smart. Jazzy, loyalty is built on respect and principle. Flattery is built on benefit and fear. That cuts deep right now. You see a whole administration built on flattery, which is benefit and fear. I want you to think about that, what Jazzy said. Every time I've played any kind of cabinet meeting, what does everybody do? What does Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, Elon Musk, what do they all start with? Dear Supreme Leader, it's never been greater in our lives. Thank you so much. And they have to do the flattery so they get their benefits and they fucking can stay in power for a little bit. It's fake. You know, I can't stand it. Lord Snooty is here. Greetings from the UK. Great show. I thank you, Lord Snooty. Great win for the Green Party over in the UK. Those meetings are barf. They're literally. I feel like whenever those are held, I'm like, we should translate these into North Korean and show them to them and be like, hey, look at you. Donald Trump visited North Korea once, and look at it. You have affected him so much, he changed our whole government. I feel like those should be dubbed in North Korean. That would be fucking hilarious. Great win. Great win. I still can't get over. Hold on. I want to get her name, and then we're going to play some more George Carlin. What's her name? Because mad respect, she's a socialist plumber, and I absolutely love this. How a working class plumber threw a wrench in Starmer's election plans. What's her name? Hannah Spencer. Good God. Special election in Northern England was supposed to be neck and neck. A three-way scrap between the governing Labour Party fighting to keep control of its seat in the historic heartland and two outsiders, the hard-right populist Reform UK Party and the new-look progressive Green Party. In the end, it wasn't even close. Hannah Spencer, a 34-year-old plumber and member of the local council, won the seat in Groton and Denton, near English city of Manchester, with 14,890 votes. More than 40% of the total votes. More than 40%? Oh my God. I didn't grow up wanting to be a politician. I'm a plumber, Spencer said. Let me just say this because I love this so much. Yep, we're very proud here in the UK. I'm so stoked for you guys. This is such an inspiring thing. It's like when Mamdani won in New York. And if you don't know, hold on, let me pull up something about Mamdani for you. Mamdani. Is this it? Nope, that's some of the news we're gonna get into. Nope, that's the Hillary Clinton thing. Here we go. Here. We're going to talk about Hannah Spencer in a second. But Mamdani, Democratic Socialist of America, mayor of New York, over 1,400 people stepped up to shovel snow in New York City as the city was hit by a major blizzard. This was last week. Zoran bumped up the pay from $19 to $30, still too low, but it's a good bump, and got nearly 3 times the number of emergency shovelers compared to the last big storm in January. Wow, it's almost like people are willing to work for livable wages. Imagine that. This is just the most recent thing. Zoran has done a ton of stuff in New York already. Within like, I forget. It was within like the first 9 or 14 days, he had already, pushed for a bunch of stuff, had things already in the works. So it's possible, and we're seeing it here in America, and now we're seeing it across the pond. But this is huge because this lady is a socialist plumber. Her quote was, "I never wanted to be a politician. I'm a plumber." And I've said forever and a day in America, the only way I would support this system changing is like a one-time flush of every politician, right? You just flush the toilet and they all go and retire because they're all way past retirement age. You see Mitch McConnell fall the other day? I'm like, bro, you can't govern. If you can't walk, you can't govern. Just like Donald Trump. If you can't drink water with one hand, you can't govern. Sorry. Never mind the felonies and the pedo charges. Like, you can't sip a water bottle with one hand. Get the fuck out of here. But the reason I love this, what is she, 34? What did they say? 34-year-old plumber, Hannah Spencer. God bless her. I wish I was there. I would love to have seen that win. That must have been so incredible. But the reason this is so important is because this is a 34-year-old plumber. I think she knows what it's like to live, to buy products locally, whatever it is, whether it's for her plumbing business or just grocery shopping. She knows what it's like to work, to have to, do all the things in Groton and Denton that the working people do. And she's not ancient, she's not some 78, 79, almost 90-year-old or almost 80-year-old president like we have. She's hip to the times, and that phrase is dating me. My apologies. But you know what I mean? Like, she gets what the fuck's going on. She knows probably how hard it is to afford rent or to buy a home or to manage that mortgage. These are the people that we need governing. We don't need billionaires raising billions of dollars to tell us what they think polls well with us. It's the most rotten thing about Citizens United, corporate lobbying, and the American political system. And a lot of people have been fooled by it because what do? They just use fear tactics like you've seen here in the raising taxes on the wealthy. Yep, Mamdani's doing that. And it works, just so you know. We in Massachusetts raised a millionaire's tax of 4% over $1 million. None of the millionaires left. None of the billionaires left. We brought in way more tax revenue than we needed. No kid goes hungry at school. Everyone gets breakfast and lunch at school. You send no money. There's no more student debt for lunches. You can get a free bachelor's degree here in Massachusetts. It's really amazing. But that's what I mean. They do fear-mongering, They're fear-mongering. That's all it is. They're trying to fear-monger you into thinking, oh, socialist, or raise taxes and all us wealthy people leave. It's like, who cares? What do you do? Oh, wait a minute. Is Jeff Bezos coming to your local pizza shop to make sure it doesn't go under? Is Jeff Bezos even paying the people that work in your town enough so they could afford rent? No, he's not. They don't care about you. And this is what I mean. You've been tricked to think like, well, if rich people leave, what will we do? I don't know. They don't live there anyways. They all operate out of there and pay you shitty fucking amounts of money in hopes that, you're content enough to not want to overthrow the system, but still too stressed to not, to not go do a protest because you don't have any time off of work. This win by Hannah Spencer is absolutely incredible. I'm glad I grabbed her name. All right, so let's finish this George Carlin. He said he's talking about the real owners now.
Owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else.
I'm going to pause it right here because Carlin said they own all the media companies. And if you were paying attention even poorly to the news today, you saw that Netflix dropped out of the bidding for Warner Brothers. The Ellisons, Larry, who's, I believe, in the Epstein files, and his son Fart. I just call him Fart Ellison because I don't think he has a real name. Just Nepo baby Fart Ellison. These two frauds who are in Trump's corner already own Paramount and CBS and, let go of Stephen Colbert. He's finishing up till May. They put Barry Weiss as head of CBS, which if you've just heard her talk for 3 minutes, you could see the stupidity upon Barry Weiss's face. And you can hear her words for yourself and just go, oh yeah, she's totally not qualified. But she's now the head of CBS to, make it Trump friendly, Israel friendly, for more propaganda. But now with the Ellison family not having to compete against Netflix for the bid, I believe instead of 6 major corporations owning all the media, I believe it goes down to 4 or 5. And I'll find out I was reading 2 different reports earlier. Someone said 4, someone said 5. I'll find it out. But either way, that should be highly concerning. There's no free market in America. What George Carlin said, the American Dream, 2005. George Carlin, Life is Worth Losing. Was that really 2005? I feel like it was older. No, he looks old enough. Yeah, 2005. What George Carlin said about they own all the media, it's happening like in front of you. You know what I mean? Like this is not like hidden. You could just look this up. And any American should be like, no, this is concerning. One billionaire family owning Paramount, CBS, CNN, Showtime, Warner Brothers, TNT, TBS, MTV, DC, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Comedy Central. That should be highly concerning that another right-wing Trump stooge just bought all of this media. And if you don't think it's going to slowly be manipulated, then you're fucking crazy. If you don't understand why they do this, just like Elon Musk, and I'm old enough to know before Elon Musk owned Twitter, it was a decent place. If there was some kind of natural disaster or an emergency or some celebrity thing, you would utilize it because a lot of these people, journalists, celebs, random people in the know, local townspeople, were on there using it to communicate. And it was this vital virtual community meeting place. I don't know what you call it. Not a virtual town hall, virtual commons. And it was really kind of cool. And then Elon Musk bought it. The whole thing's botted. I spent some time today when I was taking pictures of these to see the ass hats that were, commenting on it. And Elon Musk has location. And like there were Canadians saying like, just respect your president and da-da-da. And I was like, you're based in Canada. Shut the fuck up. There was Nigerians, Eastern Europeans. I'm like, it's all fake shit. It's all people being paid to just psychologically try to manipulate you into thinking, no, it's cool that the billionaires own everything. We should want one billionaire to own it all, And it's like, that's crazy because number one, that's not a free market. If one person can control all the TV you watch, do you think that's a free market? Or would you say that's North Korea? North Korea with an insanely rich family. Trump is like a tricky shit. It's a struggle to get it out. It's how you feel refreshed and generally. Ranking. Massachusetts among the top states for high student debt. Where is your ranking from? You understand we just tax millionaires? We also probably have the most expensive schools in the country here. I don't know if you know that. We have more colleges per fucking square acre in Boston and the surrounding cities than anywhere else in America. But yeah, that's a good stat. What, we have student debt? Do you not understand my take on student debt? I'm light years beyond you, kid. You shouldn't gatekeep education from people. If you want to make a nation truly great, you should want them the most educated. But yeah, no, that's a cool bragging point. Hey man, there's a lot of smart people just loading themselves with debt so they could get smarter. Yeah, thanks. I know Massachusetts is the smartest state in the fucking nation, and unfortunately, America, more particularly, what was it, fucking Nixon, fucking was like, no, 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 we can't have these people educated for free. Are you kidding me? We're not doing the '60s shit anymore. This is the '70s, and we are going to load them down with debt so only the really wealthy can get educated. Is that the point you're making? What was his name? Roman Turd. Because seriously, that's a stupid point. And this is what I mean. Like, you got to just step up a little bit. You got to understand, if you're going to shit on people for having student debt, you got to understand that you're shitting on people that want to get smarter, that want to go to school. Just because you didn't, you know, nobody's sitting here shitting on fucking your job, putting cones on the side of the road, or I don't know. What are you on, fucking work release right now? Like, it's such a dumb thing. I'll never get that. When Americans shit on people for wanting to educate themselves, I really can't understand that. Like, what's your definition of great? You know, seriously, what is your definition of great? The stupidest fucking populace you could have? It just, this, yeah, whoever said this isn't for you, this isn't for you. You know, you need like Tim Pool to fucking, you know, spell things out in crayons for you. This ain't gonna be the place for you, man. We're deciding what the future looks like here. We've all collectively come together to be like, all
But
right,
I'll tell you what they don't want.
all right, this shit sucks. What we need is a better future, and how do we achieve that? Obviously, we don't gatekeep people from education. Actually, why am I saying this? I'll just let a fucking legend tell you. This is George Carlin. Just listen to him. Don't take it from me. Trump said smart people don't like. I just need to do that, Jazzy. If you ever want to co-host a show, you let me know. That's what we're going to do. When this show gets big, please hit subscribe and notification bell. What we're going to do is we're going to have a live feed to Jazzy, and when he wants to hit us with one of his book quotes, he'll pop in. We're going to open up with Bunkbed Coffin or Smoking Blondie, whoever can be in studio at the time, playing some live stuff. We'll have a call-in line. Oh, this show is going to be fucking great. I have big plans for this, so I'm glad you guys are here. Cruelty feels like power to people who feel ignored or humiliated. Mocking others gives a cheap sense of dominance. Pain is easier to swallow when it's dressed as comedy. That is the truth. I can't wait till your book comes out, Jazzy. I'm so excited for this book. We will promote the shit out of it here. All right, what did Trump say? Oh man.
Smart people don't like me.
He was 100% accurate. This is the one time he was accurate. Hold on.
Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what?
Who was that dude? Roman something? Out here, we heard you. We heard you, buddy. We heard you. We know. We know out here. You're the guy who says, oh, hates capitalism, but is on a phone, huh? Yeah, we get it. We haven't heard that one before a million times over the past 20 years. Out here, here's the thing. I'll give you one more chance to not have... Oh, never mind. Never mind. Too stupid for this chat. That's what we just got to start saying. Too stupid for this chat. It's just too stupid, you know? This is not a video. This is a live chat. There is a difference. But whoever Roman, I don't know who it was that said, look at Massachusetts has the most student debt. It's like, yeah, you're spitting the propaganda of Republicans right now. Like, I don't even think they're that dumb to be like, oh, look at you guys with all your student debt. They're just like, we'll never forgive it. We'll forgive all our rich friends' PPP loans, Tom Brady, Ben Shapiro, all of the grifters that fucking took the loans and didn't need them. We'll support them, but you're trying to educate yourself? No, we can't have critical thinking now. And that's not from me. I learned this, I don't know, 20 fucking 1 years ago from Carlin, and even before that, I fucking knew it. And here you are 21 years later, still fucking debating that point. This is what I mean when I'm saying, like, too stupid for the chat. You gotta fucking keep up, man. This isn't for the slow maggots. This just really isn't, Well, you're debating, you are living in a country that has a declaration says inalienable rights endowed by the creator to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. You're still doing the fucking 3,000-year-old argument of like, should we rule over women or not? It's like, bro, we've moved fucking beyond that. We're light years beyond you. And the thing is, your voice doesn't matter anymore. Your voice got us here. You're repeating these politicians who are just paid off by the elite class, which they want to be. So that's why they're politicians and that's why they get paid off. So they can join the elite class and then stock trade on fucking markets that they regulate. They are fucking all grifters. And the fact that you're just repeating their talking points in a dumber fashion is pathetic. God. Sorry, George. Go ahead.
What they want obedient workers.
That's what you are. You're an obedient worker. That dude that fucking was trying to make fun of people for taking student loan debt. Worse, you would have been kicked off the roast. If this was a roast, we would have said, get him out the fucking dais, man.
Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay.
That's what you are. That dude that made fun of people trying to educate themselves, you are this exact person who George Carlin spoke about, okay? You were just stupid enough to repeat what they told you to be obedient about while they fucking strip your health care. That's what Donald Trump did. While he strips the fucking jobs away from you, just look at the job numbers over the past year. We're in a recession, and we're going to get to that. One of the richest men ever who helped create fucking Twitter just laid off 4,000 people and said, oh, no, the company's fine. We're making big bucks over here, and we're making elephant bucks, baby. So much money, but we're going to use AI, so fuck you humans. So I'm trying to get people to understand that you can be an obedient, subservient worker to these people who are just going to continue dangling egg in front of your face, or you can wake the fuck up. Your choice, not mine.
Longer hours, the reduced benefits, the
longer hours, reduced benefits, end of overtime. But there's no tax on tips in overtime. That's not permanent, right?
end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And that,
or the vanishing pension that disappears because the president tanked the stock market last year. But the Dow is over 50,000. Oh yeah, just wait. Just wait until he has a tantrum and the market, which is made up of vibes, fucking takes a dash. You just hope you're not retiring at that point.
now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friend.
By the way, the tax cuts that Donald Trump imploded on the working class and handed out to the very wealthy who don't need it. I would say if you're very wealthy, you don't need a tax cut. You need a tax increase. I guess it shortened the duration we have Social Security from 2052 to 2040. So, keep being obedient.
Is on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care.
No, because they give them stuff to be angry about. That is the one thing that MAGA has perpetually been since its inception 11 years ago? Yeah, just about 11 years ago. Perpetual victimhood. That's all you hear of Donald Trump. He's always the unfortunate victim of Biden or something else, or not a nice reporter, or the media isn't kind to me. He's always a victim. And with victims, what do they need? They need a common enemy. And that's what Trump provides them. Eating the dogs and cats, got to get them. There's fraud somewhere. Don't look at the fraud that we're committing. Don't look at Rick Scott's fraud. Don't look at the fraud that Kristi Noem is doing. Don't look at any of this fraud, but the fraud of the poorest people who just are trying to survive. That's the fraud we should care about. Or immigration. You know, a civil infraction, but now we'll detain them forever. You know, be mad at that. Don't be mad that I brought an immigrant into the White House. Don't be mad that the vice president brought an immigrant into the White House. Don't be mad that I let my wife's whole immigrant family come here and migrate. Fucking probably not legally, just they bought it. Don't be mad that I'm now allowing immigration to just buy $1 million Trump card and become legal. You know, if you can pay enough. Do you understand what he's saying? If you just pay me, then you're fine. But all you poor folks, and somehow he's tricked you into thinking you're on his fucking team? Give me a break, man.
Good, honest, hardworking people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hardworking people continue. These are people of modest beings. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't.
Thank you, George. Let me play another clip of this farmer in Arkansas who is a soy farmer. His farm is going out of business, and Donald Trump said he loved him, and this was his response when his farm started to go out of business because Donald Trump doesn't love him.
Mr. Trump, you looked at me, sir, and you said, I love you. Mr. Trump, I need to see the fruit of your love.
I just fucking wish these people weren't so stupid or filled with hate or so sensitive to think that, you know, well, if I vote for a woman of color, what does that say about me? You know, like, it's such a trash fucking mindset we have here in America because it's very simple. It's driven by fear, whether they have a fear of minorities or marginalized people or whatever. That's not the fucking problem, man. I'm telling you. Anybody who's just trying to survive, and here's the other thing. I don't give a shit if there's people fucking doing here. I'm just gonna bring it up. I'm just gonna bring up the article because I just gotta show you. No, we're gonna get to Lutnick and Epstein. Nope, that's the other thing. Where is it? Here we go. It is a civil infraction. If you stay here beyond a visa, it is. Stop being such a fucking moron. Here, this is, I forget, I was reading this in the news. He killed this continuing resolution, Elon Musk. He turned his virtual common meeting place, virtual town square, into a white supremacist propaganda platform filled with bots. And that's what this is kind of talking about. But what it says is, you know, it talks about Elon Musk tweeting, stop the steal of your tax dollars. Ever seen a bigger piece of pork? Any member of Congress willing to outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years. The number of tweets and retweets that day exceeded 100. If you think Elon Musk works hard, I just want you to fucking go to work and tweet 100 times. And not all at once. You got to spread them out through the day. And then tell me that your boss said you were working hard. I love that. Much's information gleaned all or in part from conservative Twitter sphere was wildly inaccurate. He said they raised congressional pay by 40%, actually raised congressional pay by 3.8%. This is interesting. Technically, it wasn't a raise, but a cost of living adjustment. Why aren't you doing that with the working people? Congress. Notice how Elon Musk doesn't give a shit about that. He just wanted to pretend like they got a 40% raise. But interesting, that's a cost of living adjustment that has never been applied to the minimum wage. Not once. And you think these people work for you, Republicans or Democrats? Not once. They're giving themselves cost of living adjustments. And not once have they been like, hey, we should do that with the minimum wage. This is a class war. Understand that. This is a class war. And no matter who you gave your vote to, unless it was Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, and I might be missing one or two, but most of them, I would even say Tim Walz. He erased school lunch debt for children, which you got to understand. When I say school lunch debt, to me, that is one of the most despicable fucking phrases you could ever say. Do you know what that means? That means children are on the hook for paying for the food at the school they have to go to. Do you understand like how demented that is? Because it doesn't matter what you do as a parent. You should not have to concern yourself with ensuring that they have money to eat. That should be the community, which is America, taking care of our children because we want them the best educated. So maybe you don't see it like I do, but every time I hear, school lunch debt, I think, what fucking poisonous, treasonous country that would let their children rack up debt for food. Anyways, but Congress will give themselves a 3.8% raise for a cost of living adjustment, because 120,000 just it ain't flipping it right now. All my minimum wage people, But what this whole article was referencing, right? What he was pushing out was this continuing resolution that would keep SNAP going for people. And SNAP has been cut off. Now I'm going to play this other C-SPAN audio. I don't know if you've heard this. This is horrifying. I'll give you a warning on it. If you have empathy, which is a good thing, this is really disturbing what this 65-year-old woman calls into C-SPAN to say. And I would just say to anybody who says our country is great right now, I want you to hear this. I want you to truly listen to this and tell me that this is a great nation that cares for its people. But my whole point on showing you this SNAP thing was because I don't give a shit about people getting SNAP. I don't care if they're rigging the system to get more food. I don't. I'm beyond that. I think SNAP is fucking obscenely under helping us. It's such a minuscule part of our budget. So much of our tax money goes to bullshit like Elon Musk, that it's like we're beyond that. Like the debate isn't whether we build back better with SNAP. The debate is like how we guarantee everybody has enough to eat in a country where we throw so much food away. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. So if you want to get on that page, great. If you don't, see you the fuck later. I want to play this lady for you. And I want you to tell me this is the greatest country in the world. Okay?
I had my annual physical yesterday. I'm 65 years old. I'm legally blind. I'm on disability. I went to my doc and I lost 28 pounds in the last year. I did not need to lose 28 pounds. I did not try to lose 28 pounds. I lost the 28 pounds because I cannot afford to eat anymore. Under Biden, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Under Biden, I was able to put $100 a month away for food, along with my SNAP, and I did okay. I could get fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and meat. It is just me. But now, with grocery prices so high, propane, electricity out of this world, I now only allow myself $65 a month for food.
Sharon, are you on SNAP benefits?
Let me tell you, under Joe Biden, I received $80 a month for SNAP. That was taken away.
$80 a month. That's $20 a week. That's pathetic for a country that pays for Israel's healthcare.
For me, under Donald Trump. He took it away. He gave me $24 a month. I did receive that for a
Donald Trump took it away and gave her $24 a month. A month.
couple of months. Then he took it down to 12.
Then he took it down to 12. You get $3 a week.
$12.50 a month. I said, screw you. So I'm not doing that no more. So now I get $65 a month, Mimi. And for them people out there, all these Republicans that are doing so flippin' well right now, I have 3 potatoes. I have a half a tomato. I have 3 bananas, 1 apple, 1 can of soup, a half a loaf of bread, 1 egg, and 1 can of green beans. I do not get paid until the 3rd. I am disability blind. I cannot drive a car. I'm 15 miles out of town, so I am not able to just trot my butt down to the food shelf. I used to volunteer at the food shelf. I can't even do that anymore. I don't understand. I'd like somebody to explain to me, why is it always the poor people that are helping the poor people? I don't understand.
I'll tell you why, because that's socialism. Because that's community, because that's what leftists do, because that is the fucking way of the future. That when you organize together, that's why it's poor people helping poor people. That's why Jeff Bezos isn't walking down and picking her up and going, oh, you should go to the store. We really got to get you some food. Because it is a class war. You understand all these social programs? All these social programs are socialism. Because our tax money should be benefiting us. That's why we pay it. What do you think we were fucking collecting our money for? To give it to rich people? That's what's happening. And this is what I mean. Who can hear that? I know I'm asking a YouTube live chat, but who can hear that and be like, nah, best country ever, man. That old blind lady who has fucking no food and can't drive anywhere, this is the greatest country ever. I would say an injury to one of us is an injury to all of us. I not only feel her pain, but I'm so angry that this is the fucking reality, that this lady has to call C-SPAN to vent about this shit. While this C-SPAN lady is just like, I don't want to get fired. I'll ask, do you have SNAP? And then the 65-year-old was like, oh, let me tell you about SNAP. Under Biden, I got $85. Under Trump, he cut it down to 24 and then 12. And I said, fuck it. What is $3 a week going to get me? This is the reality of America right now, and it doesn't matter if you're like, well, I'm doing fine, because I love those people. I'm like, oh, you think none of this affects you? You think when society collapses because they're just letting old people die in their fucking homes because they can't eat, you think you're just going to swoop in and buy that house and everything's going to be good? You don't understand the plan is to fucking root out the weakest ones first and then come for you? You don't understand that yet? Let me spell it out for you. Remember when Maha, Robert K. fucking Jr. Brainworm or whatever was like, Leucocyphates, we're gonna kill all of us one of these days. And everybody was like, oh, he's so healthy. He's so healthy. And now Donald Trump's like, produce more of that poison. That literally happened last week. I talked about it. They want more of the poison to put in your food. They're coming for all of us. And by the way, just so you know, your tax dollars are being well spent. We're really spending our money so well right now. I want to show you what RFK Jr. is up to. While Americans are starving, we're paying for him to travel on a national barbecue tour so he can eat shit. And then if you didn't really read his latest what you should eat, he said, you know what's cheaper than beef? Liver. And you had to deal with a whole bunch of people saying, listen, if you're a pregnant woman, do not eat a bunch of liver. Don't. It's really not good for you. I didn't read why. I have nurses and doctors in the family that I reference for that stuff, but I just seen that, so I figured I'd mention it. But his latest thing is, and you notice a great country isn't like, hey, we're so great. Instead of beef, why don't you just get the cheaper cuts, like livers? That's not a great country. This is where it's like, I can't believe I got to spell this out to MAGA. Like, a great country isn't telling you you can have one tortilla, one piece of broccoli, one piece of chicken, and one mystery thing. That's not a great country. That's a fourth world fucking nation that's misusing your tax money. While this lady, 65-year-old, is calling in saying they cut all my SNAP, RFK is bragging about a national barbecue tour paid for by you. Paid for by you. Your money isn't going to make sure this old lady doesn't die. Your money is going to make sure he can tour in luxury and have the greatest barbecue across the nation. Not like any of us can afford it. You know, none of us will ever be able to afford this kind of shit because he's telling us, hey, just buy liver, which is so fucking funny that while he's on a barbecue tour, he's saying buy cheaper cuts of meat. But again, this is why I really got to spell it out like at a fucking elementary level. Where can you go that's better? Who said that? Nomadic. Oh, you don't have the revolutionary optimism in you. Let me pass the torch to you, Nomadic. We make this country better. Nomadic, are you... How long you been in America, Nomadic? How long? I'd like to know. How long? Is Nomadic not going to answer? All right, well, here's the thing. It doesn't matter how long you've been in America. America was based on us not tolerating bullshit. That's the easy answer to the Revolutionary War, okay? The easy answer to the Revolutionary War is for all these people who are like, where are you going to go? You're a tool. Why don't you just shut up, let that old lady starve, and let this rich Kennedy, Camelot son, Nepo baby to the Camelots, why don't you just let him tour the country on our tax money? Here's the thing. Our whole fucking country was founded because we said, we're not going to be taxed without representation, and that's what this is. I didn't give my consent to that. I don't bend the knee to a king, and I don't tolerate tyrants. And that's our American spirit. It was built on a protest. You ever heard of the Boston Massacre, Crispus Attucks, any of that shit? Probably not. You're probably some East European or Southeast Asian or maybe even, I don't know, Nigerian bot, you know, in here to make people think that, I know you're having empathy for that old lady starving to death, but stupid. You sound pathetic, you know? You sound like you're a pedo protector, realistically, because anybody who is, you know, stomping for this, I would say you want our country dismantled. You don't like our country. You hate our country. What I'm telling you is when I hear that, that fucking fires me up. I say this whole shit needs to change. Get rid of all these people who made this happen and all the ones who supported it. Fuck them. You go to Russia. You want a tyrant? Would you like somebody who is perpetually president, like you keep saying, 2028? Go to Russia. Or you could go to China. Actually, China is a lot better than you think. Let's play some, how does the free market work in China? Simply explained. Nomadic. But unfortunately, the systems have been taken advantage of. Just shut up. Nope. 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 The only taken advantage the rich have done is of your mind. That's it. Once they control your mind, everything else is easy. They can tell you, hey, we need to cut SNAP and you should eat healthy, but only eat the cheap cuts of meat while we fly ourselves around on your dime. Like once they control your brain, which that's what American propaganda is. That's why Paramount Plus is fucking buying Time Warner or whatever, Warner Brothers. I don't know what it's called now. I'm old enough to remember when it was Time Warner, Warner Brothers, Time AOL Warner Brothers. I remember all those changes. But it's why, you know, 4 major corporations, billionaires, own all the media, is because they want your brain. Once they have your brain, you're fucked, man. You're just fucked. And the thing is no working class person is taking advantage of the system. Nobody that works, nobody that wakes up in the morning and just tries to afford rent and egg is taking advantage of the system. You can't. When you're surviving, there's no taking advantage. When you're surviving, when you're doing things to fucking just make sure you eat and not die, that's not taking advantage. That's survival. Use this language purposely. These people are not taking advantage. You know who is taking advantage? The people who are rich enough to do this on their own bill and use our money. We have a trillionaire who needs all our government contracts, who fucking needed to work in our White House unelected. We have billionaires that need to use our tax money to fly around while he's eating the best cuts of meat, telling us to eat chopped liver. That's not a joke. Look it up. That's what he said today. I couldn't fucking believe it. I couldn't believe it. But once they have your mind and you think that RFK is like doing this for you, I would really like to know how a national barbecue tour does anything for the working man or woman, because we're all fucking working at this point. Soon it's going to be working man, working woman, working children. I really need you to understand that. Because if they own your brain, you think this is great. You cheer it on, you like the tweet, you reshare it. You're like, yeah, he's touring barbecue. This is like Guy Fieri in the White House. And it's like, how did that fucking make you a Ford egg? How did that guarantee you sick time? How did that give you guaranteed fucking vacation? How did that make your fucking medical bills go down? How did that change your fucking life in any way besides they're just rubbing it in your face? Hold on, I want to play this video for you. Because this is my ideal fucking situation, how we cut back on this greed and slop and debaucherous fucking pathetic grifting from the billionaire class, the Epstein class. Sorry, the Epstein class. Hold on, here we go. Here we go. This dude breaks down the Chinese free market. This is interesting.
How does the free market work in China? Well, basically, not everything gets to be included in the free market. The reasoning is that the whole point of the free market is to create competition and innovation. So if an industry is 1, easy to monopolize, 2, doesn't have a lot of potential for innovation, or 3, is generally vital for the nation's security, then the government owns it. Meaning many large corporations that are privately owned in America would be government owned in China, such as American Airlines, Bank of America, Cisco, Comcast.
I've been saying this forever. I've been saying forever. Fucking nationalize Wi-Fi, the whole infrastructure that taxpayers paid for, that we allow like 3 companies, Comcast, AT&T, and fucking, I don't know, division of Comcast that has a different name, so you think there's a different option. But I'm just gonna get a little mad about this one because for decades. So if you don't know, I worked in radio, and at one point we would interview Charlie Baker when he was the governor of Massachusetts. And I would ask him, hey, we don't allow monopolies, right? And he'd go, yep. And I go, so why are cable companies monopolies in Massachusetts? Depending on the town you live in, you only have one option, maybe 2. And his answer was, well, where I live is a very rich part of town, or a very rich part of the state. He said, we have 2 options. And I said, that's not an answer. That's not a free market. 2 options is basically a monopoly. They could just set their prices. It's also called price fixing. So it's amazing that China, figured this shit out, because while you're paying $100 for cable every month, which, by the way, is a necessity. It's like heat, fucking internet. These things are necessities. You can't operate in this day and age without heat and internet. I think you need some other stuff, food, but I'm pretty sure they're telling you not to eat anymore. I don't know what the government's saying now. They're just saying, listen, everything's great if you just would stop being such fatties, guys. Why don't you just stop eating? But I just had to pause that because I've been saying forever, just look it up. Taxpayers paid for this infrastructure. It's just these rich billionaires that fucking exploit us to fucking take all of our money for stuff that they know we have to have. It's such a joke. Thank you, China. Go on.
ExxonMobil, and FedEx. But alright, if the government owned these services, wouldn't it be super inefficient? Wouldn't everything turn into the DMV? I mean, the government is always slow, right? Since no profit to chase means it has no motivation to move fast. Well, the thing is, a lot of these type of corporations in America already deliver poor service and charge high prices for them. Comcast, for example, charges $100 a month for internet that isn't always super reliable, and they have terrible customer service, which they can get away with because they're usually the only internet service provider in entire regions. So they don't have any motivation to make the service better. And chasing profit in this scenario just means jacking up prices with no consequences. And I don't necessarily...
That was the other thing. Like, I had Comcast at one point for so long that they kept doing these price increases, and I would call them and be like, why? What's the service getting better? And they said, oh, no. It's just I forget what they would call it. There's some corporate language where it was like, it's just a rate of charge increase, And they do it without providing any more product. And they do it because why? Where else are you going to go? At the time, that was the only one in town. It was the only option. So when they raised the prices, the beautiful American free market it's free for these corporations to charge you whatever they want. You can't do anything or just not have internet. It's unreal if people aren't like, this shit is enough for me to be like, all right, revolution, fuck it.
Necessarily think the Chinese government-owned equivalent has magical internet, but they provide the same service for $15 a month.
$15 a month. Ah, but that would be communism, right? God damn, I don't want to pay a good price for internet because that would be communism. I'd rather be exploited so some person can give me the worst service ever and no customer service, but at least that one guy's getting rich.
Since government officials are incentivized to keep its citizens happy so they can safely stay in power, and not incentivized to extract as much profit as possible. And when the government does collect a profit from these corporations, it can invest those profits in trains, schools, and infrastructure.
And by the way, China and Japan have some of the raddest trains ever. Amazing. Go look at videos and photos of their trains. So cool.
This makes the whole country richer rather than just a few shareholders.
But there's a lot of Americans that want to defend the shareholders and the CEOs. They love them. Free Luigi.
And it means that Chinese citizens don't have to pay as much in taxes to help fund all this infrastructure. It means that Chinese citizens actually pay a lower tax rate than Americans, even though America is supposed to be this low tax, low welfare, free market state. On the other hand, China does recognize that there are industries where the free market does a way better job than the government could ever do. These are usually fast-moving, creative, or innovative industries, such as tech startups, film studios, clothing brands, restaurants, things like that. However, these private companies are generally only allowed to exist if they make life better. For example, China does not allow any companies, and
he's saying corn companies,
is openly called a certain popular subscription-based one immoral and degenerate Western influence.
The funniest thing about that China calls these porn companies immoral and degenerate Western influence is like that's like ringing true to the Republican, campaigning. Like, oh, it's all this debaucherous people acting out of line, That's the funniest hypocritical part of Donald Trump controlling the Republicans is like, hold on, let me show you a picture of his wife. And we're going to get to Hillary and Donald Trump's wife. It's so funny that they're like, yeah, these dirtbag leftists, they just want everyone to be a furry. And it's like, bro, this is your wife. Donald Trump's wife did this photo shoot. Look at that. That's the first fucking lady. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? I don't want to hear about that. I consider this immoral and degenerate Western influence. That's what I consider this. It should be Eastern influence because she is a Slovenian whore after all. Look at that. This is the stupidest one to me. I'm like, who thinks this is cool? What are you even doing? Why are you leaning against the plane? What the fuck is going on, man?
Some libertarians will say this is government overreach, since the government is deciding what you don't get to watch.
But here in America, oh, what's up, Binary Ghost? Thank you for the $5 super chat. Quote, we should keep the people happy so we can stay in power. What an interesting concept. It's almost like that it was kind of point of being a republic. I'm glad you latched onto that. The first couple times I watched this, I was like, could you just imagine hearing like, hey man, we really got to keep these people happy so we can keep power? Because in America, they're like, fuck the people. We're going to do what they want. All the people wearing red hats don't even care. They went from like kill your local pedophile to support your local pedophile. So it's just so funny. We're like, the brain rot in America in politics, and especially with like the lower educated MAGA voting Republicans, like they're just asking to be abused. You know what I mean? Like they're like, we'll okay anything, sir. We can't disagree with you. I have all your digital trading cards. By the way, wife looks amazing. You know what I mean? Like it's so funny because they're just, it's an abusive relationship. The Republicans and their base, they're like, listen, we're going to take your food. We're the government, us people in charge of it. We're going to take your food and healthcare because there's immigrants. And they're like, yeah, that's right. There are immigrants. You should take all of my food and healthcare. That sounds about right. The people who have no power, who just got here, who do not run the government, and you've been in charge for almost 10 years now. So, yeah, this sounds good. Just take my food and healthcare. You're not shutting the water off, are you? Because I was just going to sip on that. I was just going to lap it up. There's lead in it. I'm good. I'm full. It's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. But wait. Oh, so here, this part is great too. Where he's like, some libertarians, it's like libertarians aren't a real thing. Just call them what they are. Corporations.
Western influence. Some libertarians will say this is government overreach, since the government is deciding what you don't get to watch.
Well, guess what? Here in America, the government is deciding what you don't get to watch. That's why they tried taking Jimmy Kimmel off the air. That's why Stephen Colbert has quit or contract not renewed in May. And that's why they took the James Tallarico interview off the air. So the government's already censoring everything. And now with Paramount Plus, Paramount buying all of this, they're going to censor even more. It's just not going to be as flagrant. You know, now you're not going to know what was going to air unless these people leak it, which my advice is journalists, just start a YouTube channel and have people leak directly to you, because the media is not going to be friendly. CNN, CBS, Paramount, these are not going to be friendly to the working class people. They have been bought out by a billionaire family who supports Donald Trump, and it is going to be more and more propaganda to try and convince you that everything is well while you're starving to death. But it's just so funny that they're like, that's government overreach. And I would say this is corporate overreach. This is billionaire overreach, if we can Americanize this a little bit. Any family that is owning this much of the media, plus Paramount Plus and all that comes with that, that's billionaire overreach. And us people, we the people, do you guys remember that? We the people? Does anybody remember that? Maybe everybody forgot. But anyways, we the people, we should be calling this out. This is billionaire overreach. This is not a free market anymore. Billionaires have bought everything, and we're sick and tired of it. Give us your address.
But China's perspective is that someone should not be allowed to make a profit off of corrupting the rest of society.
Oh, could you imagine that? Somebody should not be making a profit off of corrupting the rest of society. Donald Trump be out of business.
The whole point of a free market is to reward people with profit for benefiting society. Of course, what counts as benefiting society depends on your personal values. China has their own values and takes a lot of pride in preserving its culture. It isn't willing to completely degrade its civilization.
Oh, what's up, Ferrari Unicorn? Bella ciao. Ciao, Bella ciao. I hope that's what you're singing. Bob, good to see you, man. News Troll. Republicans are the fathers of cancel culture. NWA 2 Live Crew, Dungeons and Dragons, they all try to cancel it in the 80s. Even Metallica, there was like an ad about, is your son becoming a Satanist? And Metallica, or no, it was Ozzy playing in the background. But Metallica too, they've always blamed everything. From video games to, I mean, that's the funny thing you don't see anymore. Now they hedged their bets on that. You know, they were like, all right, this is not working out. This is, we can't keep blaming video games and and music. Like, they're not falling for it anymore. What do we got? Okay, gay people. I think they're scared of gay people, right? Because they're all probably closeted anyways. They just don't want to come out in the land of the free, which I encourage you to do. Be who the fuck you want to be. You get one life. Live it beautifully. And that is how you want to express yourself. Because again, it is the land of the free. I have to remind people that. And the weird thing is I have to remind the real Americans that say land of the free that if it's the land of the free, you should be free to express yourself.
For the sake of GDP growth or for the sake of total adherence and blind worship of free market principles. Now, the biggest irony of all is this. Because you can only really get rich by creating genuinely good things for the country, it means that the rich in communist China are actually not really hated like the rich are in capitalist America. And the Chinese government has explicitly said that they don't believe in hurting the rich to help the poor, as this would punish those who create good things for the country. However, when the rich in China try to do bad things, like trying to bribe officials, monopolize markets, or game the system with financial trickery, they get severely punished for it. So
I would give anything to see that. We're gonna get to the Epstein files.
They do those bad things way less, and they aren't hated by the public.
All right, you know what? Enough of that. We gotta get to these Epstein things. I get some more audio, but I really want to discuss the Epstein stuff.
For minors, do we love minors? I love minors.
I bet you do, buddy. Oh my God. The sculpture of Melania, I have seen it. I don't have it on my phone. I'm so sorry. I'll get it for tomorrow or whenever. Um, that is so funny. Okay, before we get into the Howard Lutnick stuff, by the way, is Charlie Kelly here? Is Charlie Kelly here? Um, and we're gonna get into the Epstein photos that are circulating. There's Howard Lutnick. You remember him from lying about never hanging out with Jeff Epstein? You remember him. Um, let's get to a little bit of news so we can get into the Epstein stuff, okay? Turn the files into trials, 100%. I love this. Okay, real quick, I want to show you guys this. The Cybertruck itself is taking care of our little Cybertruck problem for us, it seems. Now, I've talked about this a bunch of times, but you're 17 more times likely to in a fire if you buy Elon Musk's Cybertruck. That's why he canceled them. It's more explosive than a Ford Pinto. And I just love whoever tweeted this. It said the Cybertruck itself is taking care of our little Cybertruck driver problem. Oh, man. Okay, we're going to get to Lutnick, but just let me show you a little more of the class war that's happening. Here's Jack Dorsey. You might remember him from the CEO of Twitter, probably a billionaire. I don't know. He laid off 4,000 people, tweeted out the memo. But what was fascinating is I want to show you some of this. Oh, no. It's over here. Sorry. Dorsey wrote, our business is strong. Look, he says, in this case, things are a little different. We're not making the decision because we're in trouble, billionaire wrote. Our business is strong. Gross profit continues to grow and profitability is improving. But something has changed. That something is artificial intelligence. So basically what he was saying was, no. Me, billionaire guy, and you, peasants, that helped me build this, because clearly I couldn't do it myself, but I definitely did not pay you enough and extract your surplus of value so I could get even richer. No. Now I've figured out how to do it without you. But don't worry, the business is fine. Oh, no. We're doing great. Gangbusters. Gross profit continues to grow and profitability is improving. But he'll still lay you off. Just for all you bootlickers out there that think like you're safe. This is coming for all of us. And I say usher it in. That's why I want to have a UBI, have universal health care, universal housing, universal food. Go to any dumpster at closing time. Go watch how much food they throw away and tell me that, no, we should keep throwing away the food. No. People should starve while we throw away that food. You know, I want you to try to make sense of that. In fact, don't even tell me, just go look in the mirror and say, we should throw away food while people go hungry. While people starve in America, we should throw that food away. That's the American way. I want you to say that 40 times in the mirror until you realize how dumb you fucking are. Here's the other amazing American capitalism thing. I've been saying this forever. If you're new here, hit subscribe. You'll hear these predictions throughout the show. And then when they come to fruition, I will show them to you. So according to AMC, the best seats won't be available for you anymore unless you're an A-list Stubbs Premium member. Now, I've told you, they're going to figure out how to rent water to you. You're going to be renting your water soon. That's why I joke about the Nestle water wars, because Nestle owns most of the water in the world, and they sell it to you in a plastic bottle. So they're just selling you plastic bottles. They stole your water. They're selling you bottles. And when we have to go to war, because if you don't know, humans are a bunch of water and need it. It's like a necessity. So we shouldn't let these private companies profit off of a necessity for humanity, unless we just all want to go extinct, which if you're an extinctionist, I guess I can't argue with you. I never heard of that, but I can't argue with you. But here's the amazing thing. They're already starting to figure out how to rent you even movies. So you're not going to be able to buy, sightline seats. That's what they were calling it. Worst ideas of all time. That's this author's thing. But he says AMC has a proposed system called sightline pricing. So that's what we're talking about here. And if you're wondering, well, what is that weird language? Sightline. It just means, when you want to sit in the middle of the movie theater so you can see the screen and you don't want to sit really down low. Sightline is just the best sightline. Well, now you're not going to be able to buy those best seats unless you're paying a subscription per month. You're going to have to subscribe to the movie theater to get fucking decent seats. You can read the rest of this. They're talking about making it like the airlines. where, you know, the airlines are like, now we charge for bags. Now we charge for you to be in A group. Now we charge for more legroom. Now we charge for you to do anything on the fucking plane. That's capitalist America. If they can figure out how to rent you the heat in your car, they're doing it. Who the fuck supports this? Besides the people making money off of it. But like, what person is like, oh yeah, that thing I used to just enjoy? No, I'd rather have a subscription for it. I'd rather have another cost because, you know, gas is 14 cents off. This is insanity. I stopped going to the movies a long time ago. Yeah, but so this is where it's, you know, a slippery slope. I wouldn't even call it a slippery slope. We're at the bottom of the fucking shit pile right now. You know what I mean? When it's not about whether you go to the movies or not. It's like they're seeing how far they can get with this, and every other industry is going, how do we do that? How do we can do that? We've got it. AMC is brilliant. They're not even letting you buy tickets unless you're a subscriber to the movie theater. You're gonna have to buy a ticket in the bathroom. So this is what I mean. This should be concerning to everyone. It's just like if you go to Walmart now, they changed. They don't have regular tags, they have digital tags. And if they don't have them by you yet, just wait. Because they've already talked about dynamic pricing. Stupid name. They don't want you to understand what it means. It means that they're tracking you by your phone. They've already paid for your data. They know when the fuck you walk in. And when you go and it's a hot day and everybody's buying ice cream, they're going to junk the price on you. That's why they have the digital tags, because there are laws that will try to restrict it, mostly state laws. But because corporations run everything now and there's no prosecution for the rich or accountability, this is what they're going to do. So if, you know, you just care about not being grifted at every fucking corner of life, you should hate this. You should hate what this is saying for our future. Because I read this and I don't think like, oh, that sucks, or I'm not going to the theaters, or I don't have a reaction like that. I go, what the fuck does this mean in 5 years? Seriously. What other industry is watching this? What other CEO, because they're all, it's a turnstile for them. What CEO's here that's going to go to a different company, get paid a shitload because he's bringing this bullshit trickery, you know, this black magic, where they're like, hey, you want to shop at this grocery store? Are you a A-tier member? Because you can't get in. We'll let you buy the day-old food. You know, and you're like, oh, that's crazy. This dude is nuts. But then in 5 years, they're like, holy shit, I think I heard this dude on YouTube saying we're going to have to subscribe to the grocery store. And I thought he was crazy. It's like, what do you think this spells out? Do you think they're just like, we'll just see how it works? No, they're all fucking doing this. They're all doing this. This is what I mean. This is a class war. This is announcing war on you. I know you don't think so, but here's the thing. You need money to live, right? And you're like, well, I don't go to the movies. Don't worry. Every other industry, the ones that you need to survive, are watching this. And they're going, how do we implement that shit? That is so great. They're not even letting them buy the good tickets. They're making them sit in the hallway and listen with an earbud. This is fucking awesome. We got to do that. We'll do premium memberships. You want to come to Walmart? You got to be a Walmart Plus subscriber. Or you can go shop at the dumpster. Everything we just poured bleach on. Go help yourself. Your leftist rhetoric made my cat attack me. Bye. Binary Ghost, I love you. But yes, now more than ever, it is important to research what you buy and where you buy. So tiresome. It is so exhausting. It really is. But the thing is this, I agree with you. I listen, I totally agree with you. Like, you really have to be conscious of what you're supporting, where your money's going. But the thing is this isn't a free market. You know, it's not. I know, like, you know, there are people that paid a lot of money to get an economic nominist degree so they can come and tell you about a free market. It needs to be less regulated. It is. It's not regulated. This is a deregulated market. They're poisoning your food. Go read about it. Go read about glyphosate from RFK. The thing he said he wasn't going to put in your food, and Donald Trump just ordered public lands to be used to produce more of it so they can mine it and then put it in your cereal. So the thing is, you know, just like the media, Paramount just bought out Warner Brothers. There's 4 fucking billionaire families that run all of the media. Rupert Murdoch's one of them. The Ellisons are the other. They're all right-wing grifters. They're all, so divide and promote class war, but don't let the other class know about it. So what I'm getting at is like, at some point, you're always giving your money to a billionaire. There's no way out of it. This is not a free market. This is just not. This is the farthest thing from a free market. And anytime there is a smidgen of free marketness,
It's a trap.
somebody bigger comes in and either buys them out or undercuts them because a bigger business can undersell them. Just look at the story of Jeff Bezos. He undersold all of his products, took losses for years so he could drive his competition out of business and buy them up. That's literally what he did. And he also had, hundreds of thousands from his parents to invest in it. But I'm just saying, like, the mind scheme is anti-human. It's like, how do I drive everybody else out of business so I'm the only one? That's not free market. That's not competition. That's nothing, man. That's degenerate fucking behavior. And it's pathetic, because it makes everything worse. The illusions of freedom. Who said that? Katie Cater. Katie Cater. Capitalism is the best. Oh, we got an idiot in here. Yep. He's like, it's the best. I voted for a president because I needed egg prices lower. That's the best system ever. We weren't debating healthcare anymore, his concepts of a healthcare plan. We weren't debating that he's the conservative traditional family guy while he cheated on all his wives and married a Slovenian whore and cheated on her with Stormy Daniels. None of this was on the table for conversation. I was frightened I couldn't afford egg. Best country ever. You hear yourself, right? You're fucking how dumb you are. Like, here's just some life advice. You can get this for free from me. The next one I'm going to charge you. You should fucking hold off on opening your mouth if you're going to sound that stupid. Because many people surrounding you just aren't telling you. They're all like, oh, God, here he is again. Oh, it looks like we were about to leave. What were you going to say? Oh, it's the best system ever. Yep. I'm going to go back to my house where I am roommates with 8 people. So, I would just shut the fuck up. This is my life advice. When you're that dumb, just keep your mouth closed. You'll seem smarter. That's a beautiful little trick. If you didn't know this, if you're in a room with really smart people, you just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. That's my life advice, okay? When you're in a room with really smart people, and I'm not saying this is a room, but when you're around people who, I don't know, are like, there's 65-year-olds starving that I just played the audio of because Donald Trump took all their SNAP benefits, I would just say, if you're going to sound really dumb, shut the fuck up. Okay? There you go. There you go. So is this all the news that we had to news? Oh, this is what I was talking about with the SNAP benefits. This was the story. Sorry. This was the beginning of the story where it talked about the biggest fraud with SNAP benefits or any kind of government fraud. Isn't like people like, I need to get more so I don't die. It's usually this kind of stuff. Organized crime stole $180 million from California welfare funds. Okay. And this is like already been investigated. So it's just to dispel some of the bullshit. But see, that's why I don't need this stuff. Because if anybody's like, that guy's getting too much SNAP, I'm like, really? Really? The people that are trying not to starve, that's who you're focused on? Really? Donald Trump is taking billions in pardons, billions of dollars to pardon criminals. And like, this is what the fuck you're talking about? Elon Musk is a trillionaire and he has all of our tax money in government contracts. And this is what you're fucking talking about? Really? The guy that's trying not to die by eating food? I don't know. Sounds anti-American. Sounds like you hate your local Americans. Fucking idiots. Anyways, we gotta get into the Pedo Boys. Or Peed Sounds. Great album. The Beach Boys, Peed Sounds.
For minors, do we love minors? I love minors.
He does love minors. Binary Ghost, thank you for the $10 super chat. Binary Ghost, thank you for the super chats, man. For real. You support this channel so much, and I really do appreciate that. I love you for that. Because this channel functions because of viewers like you. If you want to support, you could just hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm here every weekday. I'm trying to get people to understand that everything you're reading in the news is class war. You just have to know how to decipher it because the news is owned by 4 billionaire families. Free market, right? You know what blew my mind? You pay taxes on the Social Security money you receive. Isn't that something? Your money's stolen and then skimmed on the way back to you in retirement. That should be criminal too. Like, you shouldn't, that's fucking, this is what I mean. It's like this system was completely co-opted by very, very greedy people. Like people that just couldn't get enough and still can't get enough. It's such a crazy system that we've just been normalized into, and I refuse to act like any of this shit is normal. I refuse. And you should too. None of this is normal. Smoke Blondie says that's usually not true. I only know a few people who get SSI. I could ask one of them, I think. I lost touch with a few others, but saw it with my grandfather's checks. I love watching foreign news. Winterlind. What is it? What is the French one? I've played the French one on here. I forget. It's the French news in English that I watch. I'll check out the UK news. I love RTE. Oh, did I not? I had a clip of the Irish president. That little leprechaun. I love him so much. If you've never seen the Irish president and what kind of dogs does he have? Does anybody know what kind of dogs the Irish president has? President of Ireland. Dog. That's the first thing that comes up. Are you kidding me? They are Bernese Mountain Dogs. That's one of my favorite dogs. Yeah, listen. Treat yourself today and just look up Irish president with his dogs. He's this wee little chap. And he has, is it 2? I don't know if it's 2. He has at least 1 Bernese Mountain Dog, which are just the coolest, lovable dogs. Not much, bro, but if we all help. Lurius, 2011. What do you mean that's not? Bro, that's huge. Don't ever say that. $2 is huge, man. I appreciate that so much. Please don't say not much, because as somebody who just this week when I checked my paycheck, I got nothing. I worked last week and I made no money. I'm still livid. And I work for a $1 trillion corporation, but because I had the flu and my kids had the flu, I forget when, like 2 months ago. Health insurance takes all of my paycheck. Last week I got a $11 paycheck. This week I got nothing. Nothing in my pay. Because United Healthcare takes it all before taxes, before anything. So as somebody who has $0, $2 is a lot. My God. This fucking country, man. I just tell you, I reject the whole premise of this country. Wait, sunshine. Is sunshine euphoria here? How much money is enough money? It's all greed. It freaking sucks. Well, that's Lurius, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The craziest thing to me is like, here, you can leave. Don't come into my fucking live stream and tell me to leave. You fucking leave. You're anti-American. Anybody telling people to leave because this country sucks, you don't understand that this country was founded on, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. That was like the theme of the American Revolution, in case you didn't know. Which, if you don't know that at this point, I just think you're a Russian bot. You know, you can't not understand what the American Revolution was about. It was literally, fuck you, I'm not doing what you tell me, to King George III. That's it. So the most anti-American sentiment you can have is telling people, oh, you don't like it? Leave. Is that what you said to every one of the fucking amendments when people were pushing for change? You're like, it's perfect how it is. You fucking peasant. Shut up. But what we're talking about is greed. That's something that I just can't wrap my head around it, right? Because my position on all of this shit, when I talk about the news, when I talk about these creeps in the Epstein files, these liars, it's like, they want you to focus on your neighbor trying to survive. They don't want you to focus that. Look, this is Howard Lutnick, who lied under oath, who lied on TV, who lied on podcast, who lies to your face, who laughs in the background when he's standing behind Trump and they talk about Epstein. Here with his billionaire friend, he's a billionaire, he's a billionaire. These people want to tell you the problem is your neighbor. Your neighbor who's trying to afford that egg, if they afford egg, how will you? And that's the stupidest fucking mentality. I just can't wrap my head around anyone who's like, yeah, that's it. It's the guy working really hard next to me that, you know, might get ahead. That's what's affecting me. And it's not the people hoarding all the wealth. These people have all the money. They have so much money they can't spend it. The Gates Foundation, that fucking freak, Warren Buffett, his whole thing. Like, look this up. These people have agreements among their billionaire friends to give away most of their fortune, and none of them can do it. I've talked about it here. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I've talked about it here. I said, this is so crazy. They have so much money, they can't give it away. They're giving it all to their kids, and they're giving their kids deadlines to give it away because they don't even think their kids will be able to give it away. That's how much money they have. And you think the problem is immigrants? What? Wait, so let me get this straight. You think the problem is the poor people coming here for a better life? That's who has all the money and power? It's so funny how, like, look over here works for, you know, idiots and babies. You know, you jingle keys, a baby looks, you jingle some kind of threat to MAGA who's a constant victim, and they're like, that's it, that's it. It couldn't be the billionaires who are making all the rules and have been for the past fucking how many decades. It's definitely not them. Hold on. We got to talk. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to pull this up because did you guys see? Where is it? This is the craziest shit ever, right? They pulled Hillary Clinton in to testify, which I don't like this broad at all, right? I don't like her. But the whole basis, I think, again, you got to remember, you got to think like a dodo bird. But the whole basis is that they wanted to pull her in. They subpoenaed her because I think the right-wing fucking sphere was saying, oh, she invited Ghislaine to her wedding, right? I think that's the consensus. Like, Hillary Clinton has a loose tie to Ghislaine Maxwell because she went to Chelsea's wedding. Pretty sure, like, I know this sounds very stupid. I understand. But you got to remember, we're not dealing with the best. They're not sending their best at the right-wing media sphere. But, like, that was the whole thing, right? Denny, the rich have made the rules since the beginning of time. Yes, but look at all the uprisings. Look at France, 1789. Look at America, 1775. Look at, sorry, I'm not going to come up with other dates right now. Anyways, thank you, Ferrari Unicorn. But okay, so nobody's going to confirm with me. I guess they don't care. MAGA don't care about this. They're like, no, she's just Hillary Clinton. She lock her up emails, right? It's like, are those the only emails you care about? I got about 3 million Epstein emails and 3 million hidden ones that we should be talking about. Isn't that incredible how just time plays out like this? Where at one point you had a whole crowd of people chanting, lock her up for a fucking email server. And now we have Epstein files with the most heinous, debaucherous, disgusting accusations and allegations that were confirmed and investigated by the FBI that are still being withheld as illegal criminal activity. They're withholding it. They're criminals. And this lock her up crowd over emails at one point is oddly fucking quiet. You'd think they'd be at every MAGA event chanting lock him up, but they're not. So thank you, Ferrari Unicorn, because Melania, if you don't know, was good friends with Jeff, and in the emails was writing to Ghislaine, complimenting and praising her. So if we're gonna have somebody, because they had Ghislaine to a wedding for their daughter, like Ferrari said, We have the photos of Jeff himself, the ringleader, not even Ghislaine, at Donald Trump's wedding. We're going to subpoena him. Do you see how this is all political theater? It's just make-believe. This is a big to-do to have the news cycle focus on this, and that's it. It's a distraction. Binary Ghost. Wow, thank you for the $10 super chat. Immigrants are more, so masses of them present an economic problem and wage suppression. The, quote, jobs Americans don't want to do is just code for it, quote, what we want to pay people. Even Bernie called it out, 100%. You got to respect Bernie. He's been calling this out since, I watched something from him and Abby Hoffman in the 80s. Maybe it was late 70s. I don't know. And Bernie's been on this one. I mean, this is how old this political theater is. They've been doing it for a long time. Reagan just accelerated it. Reagan basically handed the class war win over to the billionaire class. And we have not recovered. And I don't, listen, this is just me personally. I don't want this system to recover. I live by the quote, when institutions fail, which these have. If I can play this lady for you at 65 years old, starving.
To lose 28 pounds. I lost the 28 pounds because I cannot afford to eat. And
that's all you got to say, lady. Don't tell me anymore. This whole institution has failed us when it's allowing its oldest, blindest citizens to starve in their homes. And when institutions fail, you don't reform them. You hear build back better. I say, what are we building back better? You have people fucking starving in America. Starving. What are you going to build back? I say rise from the ashes. When institutions fail, you don't reform them. You replace them. We're going to replace it with, I don't know, woke Sharia, some kind of radical socialism, And if you're one of the ones that scares you because you don't really know what words mean, that's fine. Just ask your billionaire friends if you can go live in their island business towns, because they'll just create what they've already started to. I believe there's one off the coast of South America. They're trying to create these island corporate towns where you live and work in the same place. And if you don't know about that, they tried doing that in like the 1800s, late 1800s, during the Gilded Age, where workers of certain towns were paid in those corporate dollars. It wasn't American money. They were paid by the corporation in corporation's own money. So all you could do as a worker of that town is buy what the corporation was providing. You had no value outside of that town, but you worked yourself to death. It led to an uprising, But I would just say, if you don't like that there's a big vision, I think more Democrats identify as socialists than ever before. There's a lot of changing tides, again, because MAGA, you could say he's your president, you could say 2028, but the truth of the matter is you guys had control for almost the past 10 years, You've mostly fucking driven this boat, and it's been horrible. It's getting worse every single day. It doesn't matter what the media is telling you. People are working themselves to the bone. Dr. Oz is coming on, and that's what I mean. You can even listen to the media. I've played it. Dr. Oz is coming on here saying, just go to work earlier and don't retire. RFK Jr. is on tour, on a national barbecue tour, while he's also tweeting out, if you can't afford beef because it's so expensive, just get cheaper cuts like liver. Because instead of getting that steak on a Friday night, now you can just afford liver. This fucking system needs to go. It's bullshit. I'm sick of it. I don't want this for any of our kids, not only mine, but yours. And if you don't have any because you're like, I can't afford kids, that's a fucking problem. That's the funniest thing about Elon Musk and all these birthers, where they're like, the birth rates are declining. I'm like, I don't know, pay people enough to buy a house, not worry about healthcare, not go into debt for having a kid, give them guaranteed parental leave for 5 years so they can stay at home without worrying about salary till their kid goes to school. And guess what? You'll have booming birth rates. It's a simple fix. I know I'm just one lone YouTuber, but let me tell you, it's a simple fucking fix. Hold on. What do you want to do? You want to go back out? Yeah. Okay. I love you. Yes, I do. Sorry, my cat has been obsessed with me. Every room I go into, the cat just wants to hang out with me. What the fuck? Blake, is that how you speak to women, man? Don't come back. Don't come back. Don't come back. I do have a direct link to donate in the description. I have a buy me a coffee. But listen, lone YouTuber with the cat. What are you, scared of cats? Don't be chicken shit. Go get yourself a cat, man. Don't be scared of people with cats. You sound like a bitch. I don't know what to tell you. I love people who are like, oh, he has a cat and a dog. What a loser. Do you fucking hear yourself? Add to the conversation, please. You say a comment like that again, one of my mods will mute you. It's just fucking, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's like, here's what you're saying when you try to, distract from the conversation by either saying, oh, this guy wears a do-rag, or, ooh, lone person with the cat. What you're saying is, I can't comment on what you're speaking on because I'm subservient to the fucking owner class. And because I worship them and I can't think outside of the box and I don't give a shit if this world suffers and my neighbors starve, I'll comment on what you have. I'll comment on the things I see. This is how you get tricked by the politicians. They know how stupid you are. They're like, oh, if we just tell them people of color are coming for you, that's all we need to do. And they'll do the dirty work for us. Why do you think ICE was so chomping at the bit to go out into the streets and violate everyone's constitutional right? Because they're fucking morons. We gotta talk about this Howard Nutlick. I don't know if Charlie Kelly's here. I know he only pops up randomly. Charlie, I love you. Oh, Sunshine Euphoria is here. Yes, us Generation X used to do a thing called critical thinking. But that's a lost art. Sunshine Euphoria, you're speaking to the deaf. You're speaking to the deaf right now. Straw Rabbi. Hey, what's up? How are you? Good to have you here. Appreciate you coming in. And where are people chatting from? Let me know where you are around the world. We had a couple people from the UK earlier, which was amazing. I don't know if Sardjan is here, but shout out to Netherlands. Again, Mike, just, okay, never mind. Smoking Blondie, you're a gem. You're a gem. Dallas, Tejas. Oh my God, hold on. I'm going to play Jesse. Oh, Jesse, good to see you again. Hold on. Tucson, Arizona. I think I've been to Tucson. My buddy used to live in Glendale. Phoenix is so... Vancouver. News Troll, I didn't know you were in Vancouver. I've always wanted to go to Vancouver one day. Charlie is here. Okay, Charlie is here. Cat Revolution. Okay, Charlie's here. I got to play this, and then I will play the Dallas. Jesse, don't leave. I have one of the funniest... It's kind of a roast of Dallas, but I don't think you're thin-skinned. I think you'll take it with pride like I did. It's a French dude basically talking trash about Dallas, but it's so funny. And this Boston rapper that I used to follow, I unfollowed him on Twitter, said, why don't you just go back to France? And I commented to him, I said, bro, anybody from any masshole should respect somebody calling it like they see it. And I just saw a little earlier, he liked my tweet. I'm still not going to follow him because if you can't respect the game of like he's calling what he sees, then something's wrong with you, man. Because even when people diss you, if you're like, that was pretty fucking accurate. Especially if it's funny. But because Charlie Kelly's here, I got to play this because I did this specifically for Charlie. Charlie, I love you. I'm so happy you're here. Okay, Charlie. Somebody clip this together of Howard Lutnick. I've showed you guys this meme before. Again, if you don't know the backstory, Howard Lutnick did an interview on the New York Post podcast, YouTube channel, or After Hours TV show. I don't know. And basically, this guy, who's Trump's BFF in his regime, originally said, me and my wife met. We met Jeffrey Epstein. We lived 6 steps away, 6 steps. They were neighbors in New York. He said, we met him. We saw his massage table. He said something creepy. We left, and me and my wife said, I will never hang out with him again, right? And he like did this dramatic, long interview about how he's so not in the files. And then the files come out, right? This is why they were trying not to release him. Then the files come out. Turns out, oh, he's emailing Jeff Epstein all the time. He's like, hey man, what's your what's your latitude and longitude, bro? So I can tell my captain we're gonna swing by on the boat, you know. So then he gets caught. And he got caught again today. I'll show you the photo in a minute. So then he gets caught and they drag him in front of Congress where, you know, lying under oath is a crime. Only for poor people, so he gets no punishment. But when I played this audio, I thought it's very odd. If you're a parent or if you had a parent, you've never heard your parent say, I went to the island with my children and then I left with all of my children. That is suspect. That is what you call a true crime thriller, where they break down the interview and the body language. Like that's what JCS, Jimmy Can Swim, great YouTube channel. I don't know if they're still creating, but they should be doing a whole criminal investigation body language breakdown on Howard Nutlick or whatever his name is. They absolutely should, because any parent, it reminded me of the Chris Watts. Do you remember Chris Watts? He murked his whole family in Colorado or whatever, and then lied about it. But if you break down the interrogation, you're like, he kept saying like those kids. He was talking about his kids, and he'd be like, those kids. And even in these criminal breakdown channels, they were like, parents don't say those kids. Parents say my kids. It's like basic stuff that you don't really pick up on. But as soon as he did that, I thought, this is Chris Watts. This is a psychopath that you're not reading correctly, because anyone that says, and we left with all of my children, I would go, how many kids did he start with and how many is he claiming to have today? We should know this. We should all know this. Where are his kids? And it turns out at least his two boys were fine. His two boys featured here. I have a non-blurred out image too, don't worry. Here they are. And there's Brad Ratcliffe or whatever. There's Rat Boy, who produced the Melania doc. And if you're going, how do we know this is Epstein Island? Oh, don't worry. It's not only in the files, which you can find, but somebody pinpointed exactly where they took the picture and the weird other temple in the background. Isn't that crazy? Hold on, I'm trying to point. Isn't that crazy? Right there. So they know exactly where on the island this was. And by the way, this got deleted. This photo got deleted. So you cannot look it up anymore on justice.gov. But thank God, jmail.world, anything that gets released is immediately archived there. So the government can't hide this from you. Because if Donald Trump was so innocent, he wouldn't be hiding this stuff, right? Right. But because Charlie Kelly is here, and I do pay homage to Charlie, always respect the Always Sunny crowd. Oh, hold on. So, my chat wasn't going. I'm so sorry. My chat was paused. Binary Ghost, thank you for the $10 super chat. I am supported by viewers like you, especially you, Binary Ghost. We got to get you something special, man. You really support this channel. I should do like I wonder if I could do a short just for you. We'll do a live stream or something. Maybe this weekend we'll do a live stream. We'll get Binary Ghost in there. I feel bad for Elon Musk. The left stopped liking him. The right doesn't like him much since his H-1B visa rant. Gamers hate him, and even Epstein thought he was too annoying to have around. I don't feel bad for him at all. I say you reap what you sow, you know. And the one thing that you can take here's the thing: when people are maybe, you know, trying to save up for a vacation or feel burnt out, but they don't have any time off of work, just think there's a guy with $1 trillion that even the worst pedo in the world was like, nah, bro. Nah, I don't want to hang out with you. So just take a little solace in the fact that when you're with family or friends or loved ones, like you're enjoying life in a way Elon Musk never could. He has like 14 kids by 14 different autistic women, and none of them will hang out with him. You know what I mean? Like he's despised unless they're too little to understand who their dad is. So just take solace in that. That you could have $1 trillion and fucking still have a hole in your heart your dad fucking gave you, and you'll never be liked because you're pathetic and always a pick-me girl. Phoenix Legends, welcome, comrade. Appreciate you becoming a member. Appreciate you, Phoenix Legends. And I love Phoenix. For our unicorn, maggot is if sheep and parrots had babies. That's, you know, you joke about that, but just wait until they figure out how to like clone that stuff or do DNA blending or whatever they're gonna do. There's sheep parrots, that's the voting block. Orion O'Brien, thank you. Thank you for the $10 super chat. This is super kind of you. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. I really do. Because listen, I'm here, I'm showing my face and I'm not fucking changing my ways. That's the other thing. You know, I don't care how many maggots come in here, tell me to leave the country. I'll always tell them they're un-American. They don't understand why this country exists. It's because fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, and we deserve better. That's the two things. That's what that's basically the fucking whole founding. It was like, no, we could do better. We're not paying that kind of tax on this tea. Bullshit. No, that king thinks he's gonna do what? I don't think so. You know? And we instigated in the streets. This country was built on a protest that got violent. Look up the Boston Massacre. Happened fucking just a few miles from where I live. First black man killed in this country by an authority. So just look that up and you'll understand that when people tell you, oh, just protest the right way. You know what the right way is? How our fucking founding fathers did. Read into that for yourself. My history lovers, they know what I'm talking about. But I appreciate you, Orion O'Brien, for our unicorn, and Phoenix Legends. Are you in Phoenix? I wonder if you're in Phoenix. When is monsoon season in Phoenix? No, that's in the late summer, right? I love monsoon season in Phoenix. It's those Australian grown parrots. Don't even tell me that Australian has like oversized parrots. Is that where the shoe bill is from? I can't do Australia talk right now. There was somebody from Australia in the chat. God bless Australia. Listen, I love you guys. Most terrifying animals in the world. Most terrifying. I can't even tolerate it. Everything is poisonous and venomous there. You can't go outside. You're like, the ants will beat you up. The bees will beat you up. You don't even want to start with the spiders, the frogs, even the mammals. The goddamn platypus has venom. The shoebill? Oh, look it up. If you don't know what a shoebill is, ooh, that is a terrifying bird. It might be in Africa, though. I don't think that's Australian. Oh, Dallas. Okay. Charlie, are you still here? I'm going to play it after. Let me do the Dallas. It's not a song, but this is a French dude. Hopefully you can understand him. He's got a little bit of a thick accent. Let me pull him up. Charlie, I promise I'm going to play that. Let me just play this because Jesse did remind me. And I do get sidetracked easily. Thanks, America. Can't have ADHD medicine.
area, and I'm ready to publish my psychiatric evaluation. DFW is not a metropolitan area. It's a financial cult built on top of a 16-lane highway. Let's start with Dallas.
Okay, so he's got a thick French accent, but he's saying, let's start with Dallas. Dallas is basically Dubai.
Dallas is basically Dubai, but the women have bigger hair
But the women have bigger hair and everyone is heavily armed.
everyone is heavily armed. It's a massive plastic surgery clinic.
He says it's a massive plastic surgery clinic floating on an oil spill.
Floating on an oil spill. And the cars, everyone drives a lifted 6-ton military-grade assault truck.
He says, and everybody drives a 6-ton military-grade assault truck. I don't care if you're from Dallas. This is so funny. My old roommate is from Dallas. He would have thought this was hilarious.
Are they crossing a desert?
He says, are they crossing a desert? Are they invading a country?
Are they invading a country? No, they're going to the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. Calm down, Brenda. You are driving a Panzer tank to...
He said, no, they're going to the Chick-fil-A. Calm down, Brenda. You're driving a Panzer truck to buy a chicken sandwich and yoga pants.
Buy a chicken sandwich and yoga pants. And how do they wash away the sins of this extreme capitalism?
How do they wash away the sins of this extreme capitalism?
They go to a mega church. In France, our churches are 800 years old, freezing cold, and designed to make you feel terrible about yourself.
That's so funny. So this really struck me because he says in France, he goes, they go to a mega church. He says in France, our churches are 800 years old, freezing cold, and designed to make you feel terrible about yourself. And if you've been to any churches in Boston or the surrounding area, they're like that. These are colonial churches. So they're not well heated. They're extremely uncomfortable. You know, if you've ever sat in an Irish Catholic pew and had to stand up, sit down, I'll never forget when they got the soft the knee cushions on the thing, because it used to just be these wooden things that you put out because you'd have to kneel. And I'll never forget when the church put in the knee cushions, you could kneel and it wasn't hardwood. Oh God. So that just, when he talked about French churches, I was like, yeah, I get it, man. I've been there. A church is designed to make you feel horrible about yourself. And then he continues on about these mega churches, which is hilarious.
In Dallas, church is Las Vegas casino for Jesus.
He says in Dallas, the church is a Las Vegas casino for Jesus. He said it's a stadium with 15,000 seats, which is so true. I went to one of these in California.
The stadium with 15,000 seats, 3 coffee shops.
3 coffee shops, a gift shop, and a Jumbotron screen.
A gift shop and Jumbotron screen. The pastor wears a $20,000 Rolex and a...
The pastor wears a $20,000 Rolex and arrives in a private helicopter.
Arrives in a private helicopter paid for by oil money to teach
Paid for by oil money to teach you about humility.
you about humility. It's literal hypnosis. And then to escape the plastic, you drive 30 minutes to Fort Worth. This is where the real oil money
He says, then you drive 30 minutes to Fort Worth. This is where the real oil money hides.
hides. Fort Worth is a city entirely dedicated to poverty cosplay.
He said Fort Worth is an entire city dedicated to poverty cosplay. We have to use that here. Somebody note that. Somebody note that. From 1-0 check to another. Here's a little money for you and your family. God bless. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that. Charlie, I love you. Fucking love you so much. Yeah, we have to co-opt that word, poverty cosplay. This dude is brilliant. He's got to be a comic.
You see a guy at a bar. He smells like a farm animal. His jeans are destroyed. He looks like a medieval peasant
He looks like a medieval peasant.
who just survived the plague. Do not give him $1. This is Earl. Earl owns 500 oil wells.
He said, do not give him $1. This is Earl. He owns 500 oil wells and a private jet.
Private jet, and he could legally buy your entire bloodline in cash. And
He could legally buy your entire bloodline in cash.
all of this insanity exists for one reason: oil. In Europe, to get rich, you need a 400 years old family empire or a PhD in physics, and still it's difficult. In Texas, a guy just taps the dirt with a metal pipe. The earth bleed toxic black juice, and boom, he's suddenly a billionaire and buys his third wife a brand new face.
Boom, he's suddenly a billionaire and buys his third wife on a brand new face.
So if you want culture, go to Paris. But if you want to watch a billionaire dressed like a homeless man drink a Starbucks inside the Holy Stadium, welcome to Dallas Fort Worth.
He goes, if you want culture, go to France. You want to watch a billionaire dressed up like a homeless person drinking Starbucks inside of a church stadium? Go to Dallas, Fort Worth. That is too fucking much. I couldn't believe people were giving that guy a hard time on Twitter. I was like, and I couldn't believe it was another masshole, like this local rapper, or not. He's not even local. I think he's a national rapper. I'm not going to say his name, but I've been following him for a while, and I couldn't believe he said, why don't you go back to France, buddy? And I was like, bro, he's calling it like he sees it. Any masshole should be able to respect that. And I think it changes. See, I'm trying to change the minds and hearts of people, man. Because if you can't recognize this dude is absolutely fucking hilarious, you're too sensitive. Let's just say that, you know. You're way too sensitive if you can't even hear the comedy and you just get offended. All right, Charlie, this one's for you, buddy. I love you. This one, we're going to get into it now. Now we're getting into the Epstein stuff. All right. Here is Howard Lutnick during this testimony, interspliced with Charlie Kelly's family.
Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation.
And remember, he already said he never went to the island, never hung out with him. He said they met when he was his neighbor in New York and said, this guy is gross, I'm leaving. That's why he's getting called in to testify. That's what this is. Now he has to recorrect the story and say, okay, guys, okay, I did go. So remember.
Yes, I was on the sex island, but only for the snorkeling. I didn't know anything about the kid stuff.
My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple.
No, look, 95% of what went on down there was not pedophilia.
Oh, yeah?
No, the other 5%, that's sullied the whole operation.
We had lunch on
Charlie, God bless you and your whole crew down in Philly. This is one of the best shows ever. If you've never watched It's Always Sunny, just do yourself a favor. Danny DeVito is so brilliant. And you know what? Just a little backstory. Charlie probably knows this. A little backstory on how It's Always Sunny got started was as a YouTube pilot. No joke. You could probably still watch it here on YouTube. It's so surreal to me that Rob Mackle, he changed his name to Rob Mack. That's dumb. But Rob, Charlie, whatever Charlie's real name is, and Dennis, they basically filmed it. It's horribly filmed. It's great writing, or the blossoming of great writing, and it's here on YouTube. And I'm always so inspired by that. I love seeing these, organic, grassroots little ideas come to fruition and then give us this beautiful montage. So sorry, Howard. Let me rewind it a little bit.
That sullied the whole operation.
That sullied the whole operation. 95% of the stuff was not PDF files. That 5%, that sullied the whole thing.
Had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children.
It ain't just...
See, that is when he goes, and we left. And do you notice his voice goes up? I'm telling you, if you do a crime channel here on YouTube, you need to break down this testimony. Because when he goes, I want to play it again. Listen, he up talks. He sounds like he's saying, and all of my children. Like something's wrong there. Something's wrong. Parents don't say that. Parents don't go, we went to Chuck E. Cheese with all 4 of our kids and we left with all of our children. That's not normal. Listen.
That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children.
It ain't just me. You guys' names were on those documents too, remember? What? Still? Son of a bitch.
We were on family vacation. I don't recall why we did it.
Oh, we could just check the emails and find out why you did it, because you're a pathetic fucking hog snarfer. Hold on. And then so when he says, I don't recall why we did it, let's just look at the document dump that was pulled today from the Epstein files. There is Howard, clearly a much younger Howard. There's Jeff Epstein. There's Howard's 2 older sons. And there is the Melania documentary producer. Interesting crew of people. It has since been taken off the government justice.gov website. I wonder why. Maybe this implicates him in more than just having lunch for an hour and he doesn't even know why. Maybe he, was deeply, deeply woven into this spider's web of his own accord. And for all those who are like, oh, this couldn't be Epstein Island, like they figured out where they took the picture and everything. You can see the shit in the background. So, I mean, this is not debatable. And if you didn't think it was, why would the government pull this photo down? As soon as it was discovered, they pulled it down. You cannot find it anymore, but you can go to jmail.world, and there they have all of it. And then The Daily Show made this brilliant meme, the Beach Boys, peed sounds. What's up, White Dove Sam? Good to see you. Why would the government take it down? You just can't ask enough. If everyone's exonerated, why haven't you released the other 3 million plus files? And why do you keep taking stuff off of there? Because if everyone's exonerated, nobody's guilty, right? Sounds like he almost left one of his kids. One-Eye Dollar, good to see you. It sounds not like he almost. It sounds like he left one of his kids. Oh my God. Hold on, I gotta jump back a little bit. Beauty is always sunny, 100%. Trump is in the file more than 38,000 times. The unredacted and 3 million plus files that we don't have, the senators that got to see it unredacted said it's over 1 million. That is Danny DeVito's voice. Hold on, I gotta go back pretty far. Jesse, there we go. That was great. Thank you. Much needed. Okay, cool. I'm glad you appreciated that. Um, how did I find that? It's on Reddit, but I don't know where the. Hold on. Oh no, sorry, that was on Twitter. I don't know where the original. His name is Eros Brusson. Eros. EROSBROUSSON. He is on Twitter. This is like his video on Twitter. So if you're not on Twitter, Elon Musk. So the great thing about Twitter before Elon took over, you didn't have to have an account. You could just look stuff up. And now I'm pretty sure like it locks you out unless you have an account, unless he changed it. But because that was a stupid thing to do to kind of lock people out. Maybe he changed it. But Eros Brusson is the Twitter handle. And he's a funny ass dude. I would suggest everybody go follow him. Okay, so I'm glad you got to see that, Jesse. That show is so good, yeah. Over 1 million, thank you, News Troll. Yeah. You found them? Excellent. Yeah, share that with all your friends and family in Dallas. You know, because that is a... Listen, that I don't even think... That French dude, you know, absolutely roasting Dallas. I don't even think that's specific to Dallas. Because I'll tell you, when I lived in SoCal, there are those Jumbotron churches with the pastor dressed up and a goddamn nice watch on telling you about humility and how Jesus always loved the poor. And I'm like, I don't see you washing none of our feet. And it's always funny to me when the church has a gift shop and a coffee shop and a fucking Jumbotron. And it looks like you're walking into the Vegas for Jesus, you know? I don't know. But so I think that just stands the test of time as a good old American roast. It's just more specific to Texas because I think of the oil stuff. Dude, I'm a Moncrief. I thought you were going to say you were French because Moncrief. Former mayor of Fort Worth. Really? That's crazy. Yo, then definitely send it to your family. Oh my God, yeah. Retired judge. Ooh, look at that. What party he with? What party? I'm guessing Texas has got to be a Republican, huh? Yeah, you got to send that to all your friends and family because that is funny as hell, right? That is so funny. I love that. I absolutely love that. Where is my... Oh, is Moncrief Scottish? My bad. She won't. Listen, I'm pretty sure her family is a former judge and a former mayor. I don't think you want to fuck with them in Texas. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. But yeah, don't give any more information. Don't dox yourself. This is why we got to have a. I want to do this for the members. I want to do a members only live stream soon. And what I was saying is, I know the first tier doesn't include that. The second tier does, but I think I'm going to drop it down to the first tier because I want it accessible to everybody. That's why my first tier membership is just 99 cents. You know, I know a lot of people do like $5 or $10, but I really want this to be accessible to everybody. And I think it'd be cool to have stuff where people can, you know, I can share more and you can share more because there's obviously a lot of pollutants out in the wild, as I call it. Hold on. What was the other news that I had? Always remember this. Ooh. Oh, this is what I wanted to show earlier when we had those. Oh, what's up, Sendo Justa? How is Brazil? It's got to be late there right now, man. Oh, no. You're on my timetable. How are things? Are you kidding, Jesse? You have to be joking. Jesse says, my boyfriend's dad was Don Huffins. Oh, CFO. Okay. Or Huffines, who bought Zorro Ranch. You're kidding. This is your current boyfriend's dad? You have tea? will you come on? Would you come on the live stream, or would you? I have a Discord link in the description, and if the Discord link isn't good, I will update it as soon as this video goes. Jesse, would you? Okay, you would come on the live. Let's connect if you can. I'll switch the. If the link is not good to the Discord, as soon as this uploads, I'll edit it. I'll put a good link in there. Join the Discord, and we can message on there so we can connect. I'll find a time, because if you're in Texas, you got to be a couple hours behind me. We'll find a time where you can come on live with me, and whatever you got, whatever you can share, because that we talked about that story. Was it last week that it came out? Where Huffines bought the ranch. His son, I'm pretty sure, works in Trump's regime. And I believe that dude also said he would be open to allowing the FBI to investigate, but he didn't really specify what that meant, which I thought was questionable, because they're not looking to investigate. They want to dig it up for bodies. So that is amazing. Oh my God. I'm shocked. That's so great. You're so close to that. You spoke to Valenti and Hassan this past week. Get the out of here. How did I miss those? Actually, I've been watching, I got to be honest, I haven't watched a lot of Valenti this week. I've been trying to catch more and more Hassan. This week has been crazy for me. That's incredible. I would be honored if you came on. Those are my heroes in the leftist space. So that's so cool. Yeah, so let's connect. And we'll figure out whenever it works for you. I'll make it easy, whatever is best for you. And I'd love to talk with you. That's so cool. I appreciate you, Jesse, sharing. I miss those too, and I watch Hassan. Yeah, but you got to remember, Hassan, have mods delete my number in the chat. Wait, did you? No. Don't put it up. Don't even put it up. You didn't, right? Don't do it. Do not. That's how you found me, Valenti? Oh, that's cool. I must have got suggested through his stuff. Don't do it. We'll connect in Discord, okay? I do not want, I don't care if it's a burner number. I do not care. Listen, I do not care. And I only say this, listen, the reason I say this is I worked in radio for 20 years. I've had my life threatened many, many times. And I would never, ever want anybody who's, dumb enough to want to, be mean to people, but smart enough to figure some shit out. It's not even worth it. It's 100% not. I'm telling you, the link to the Discord is in, I always put it in the description, and I'll make sure that it's fresh as soon as I get off. And we can connect. We can DM through there and everything. I'm on there. So we have a Discord with a bunch of rad people in there. So it's a safe, if it talks 1,000 times, it's okay. No, Jesse, that's where you don't understand. It's not okay to me. You know what I mean? I'll never, and my whole thing is I want to protect people. So I just don't want it to happen. Especially, okay, that was weird. That this just froze on me. But listen, I say this too because I don't edit these. So like I know Valenti and Hassan have people that will edit stuff and upload it or whatever. I don't, so I don't want that going out into the wild west of the internets. I appreciate you, and I have faith that we'll connect after this. And I'll jump into the. No, okay, good. See, Edward's on it. See, we got good mods in here. We got good people in here, and we will. White Dove Sam, yup, that was awful bizarre. I'm telling White Dove. Thank you for not making me feel crazy. That was real weird. It just cut out right there. Hold on. Remote Creative Agency LLC. What's dumb is saying don't support these corps, but working for them or taking monetization and helping them grow. Directly responsible and doing exactly. Remote core here. I know this is like a hard concept for you to understand, but we're living in the imperial core. So we are in the belly of the beast of capitalism, and we have to survive. There is no alternative system for us to use. You understand that, right? And in fact, if you probably go back far enough in my podcast and YouTube videos or on my social media account, you'll see me talking with much smarter people who are in these tech spaces where I'm like, why can't we create our own YouTube? Or if you look at Nebula, you know, I was a subscriber to Nebula because that was like a co-op run platform. So you got to understand, the reason that America sucks so bad is because there is no free market. They don't want you to develop anything. And if it's good enough, they'll buy you out or crush you. So we're operating within the means that we have right now because most of us are just trying to get by, you know. But within that, the bravest thing to do is to dissent against the most powerful tyrants of all time, bigger than the robber barons. So, I mean, I think it's a noble cause that you're like, yeah, man, well, you're just helping them. It's like, no shit. Everything we do is helping them. That's why I'm speaking out. That's why I'm saying this is garbage. We all need to come together because I alone can't do it. I can't be like, hey guys, I started my own YouTube. Fucking please come and find me somewhere. You understand that, right? I hate this argument so much, but I'll address it because it's like when people used to be like, oh, you hate capitalism so much. Why do you have an iPhone? It's like, oh, I don't know. Tell me the non-capitalist fucking phone I can buy. Okay, it ain't the Trump one, I'll tell you that. That's an AT&T, and you're gonna get throttled if you ever even get it. No, I am monetized. It's just YouTube always takes it. Oh, that's the other thing. I totally forgot about that. I'm supported by Binary Ghost. I'm supported by the members. I'm supported by people in the chat. Just so you know, because I play what the government says and did and their allegations, YouTube demonetizes me right away. Right away. Like right away. But my thing is like I'm not gonna try to alter this stuff to placate their sensitivities because this is what your government is doing. You know, when Howard Nutlick is like, yeah, man, I only went to that sex island once. You know, brought all my kids home. You know, it's like you need to hear these liars lie to your face. It's very important you hear that. Or when, you know, Donald Trump yells something out that could be wildly misconstrued and borderline perverted, like the Lindsay Lohan thing I played for you, or just a weird clip of him.
For minors, do we love minors? I love minors.
Or we could just play, like I said, I'll play this again for you, the Donald Trump thing, because this is the stuff that they totally, you know, this one's kind of tame, but when Donald was talking about he doesn't have an age that he wouldn't bang, and he was 60 years old, and then said, no, 12 years old.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan now?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
Dude is 57 talking about a 17-year-old. That's the other part of America I really despise. But right now, Bill Belichick is wiping his brow going, phew. Bill Belichick, who's, I don't know, 70. He married a girl younger than his kids. You know, she's like 21. But that's all on the up and up. You know, it's disgusting, but it's legal. And right now, he's like, whew, they really took the heat off me, all these pedo boys. This pedo president really took the heat off of me marrying a 21-year-old at the age of 70. But I just hate how, like, some sects of the manosphere, like, worship that, you know? And I don't know if it's because they're desperate or, you know, they're so pathetic that they think, well, now that I have money, I can take advantage of these younger girls because they're clearly not with them for character, you know? Do you think if Bill Belichick went broke tomorrow, that bitch would be like, oh, I love your wrinkly arms anyways? You know, like she'd be gone in a second. Dude wears a sweatshirt every day. You know what I mean? He has my fucking taste in clothing. It's like you're telling, you know? And these perverts are in charge. So, you know, YouTube just takes my money. But I don't give a fuck. Because again, you can hit like, you can hit subscribe. I do this for the love. I don't do it for the likes. I do this because, you know, people need to hear this. People need to wake up. America will forever be a failed experiment if poor working class Americans continue to allow the millionaire, billionaire class to convince them that socialism is bad and massive inequality with unchecked capitalism and greed are good. When I read this earlier, I thought of that movie with Gordon Gekko. What is it, Wall Street or whatever? Where he's like, greed is good. It's just like the Jordan Belfort. If you don't remember him, he's the Wolf of Wall Street. He had a movie come out, Leonardo DiCaprio, whatever his name is. Leonardo DiCaprio. That dude that also is pervertedly into younger women. It's like at that point, don't you want some kind of fucking conversation? You know what I mean? Oh, anyways. But Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, and people like cheered him on. I'll never forget, like these like frat bros were like, he's a hero. I'm like, he ripped off your grandparents. Did you not watch the same movie I did? The dude was into penny stocks. So these are not big traders. These are not wealthy people. These are not fucking corporations. He didn't even rip off Wall Street. You know, like if you're going to press me, figure out how to take a penny every time somebody trade, like all these Black Rocks trade on fucking billions of dollars in Wall Street and just load your money from robbing from the rich. But this dude did the exact opposite. Jordan Belfort, his whole movie that you can watch, you're probably going to get sidetracked with all the lavish parties and how much of a fucking asshole he was. And still people cheered for it. But his whole thing was he's robbing penny stock people. The people who don't have much to invest in, he lied to them, took their fucking life savings. And those are the people that he went to prison for and didn't pay most of them back. And now he's lauded on Fox News as like this inside trader who really knows his stuff and served his time, so he's good. In my book, he's a forever scumbag. He didn't like think, ooh, I'm in Wall Street. I should really be robbing the people with all the money. He was like, no, like Donald Trump. He's like, who has the least money? Who's the most vulnerable? Who needs the big jackpot? Let me steal from them. You know, it's a sick fucking mentality that the American culture has cultivated, but I'm here to break that. I'm here to break the cycle. I broke many cycles in my life. Don't question me on that. And I'm here to break another one for America. So join me in the cause. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. He just paused again. Me? Did I pause again? I bet U.S. military using AI, especially with Iran. This fucking Iran thing, man. Sunshine Lacrosse, what's up? 2025 was the year they made it illegal for parents to marry off their daughters as young as 14 to older men. Let that sink in. Where? In Alabama? You know what? I'll actually subscribe. I've invested enough as it is. Please tell me you're a subscriber. Binary goes, I pray to God that you are. Quit smoking pot. Wait, quit smoking 8 months ago. No, that was a tough change. There you go. There you go. That's breaking the cycle. Didn't happen on your end. Yeah, it didn't happen on my end either. So hopefully it didn't freeze again, but. Dale Bateman. What a fucking name. I'd hate to think that's your real name. I'd like to think nobody's mother wouldn't. You know what? This is going to be a Dale Bateman. Just go to Tim Pool's podcast, man. Never quit smoking pot. I'm from BC. Yeah. I didn't think so. Well, why do you think in the 90s I wanted to go to Vancouver, man? I knew. I read the magazine. I read the cannabis zines. I knew what was going on in Vancouver. I was like, I'm making an homage. I'm making a pilgrimage out there. You're from Canada and you love pedophiles? D-man, that's not the brag you think it is, bro. That's weird. Everybody stay away from D-man. Don't let him babysit your kids. I am now. You just randomly show up in my shorts scrolling. My shorts algorithm and my long form algorithm are very opposed to each other. I'm glad you're subscribed now. I appreciate you, Binary Ghost. Dale, you type the same every day, man. Yeah, well, that's what they do. So you don't like having better healthcare? No, he hates it. He comes to America to that Canadian who loves the pedo protectors and the pedos. He's like, I go down to America when I break my leg so I can go into debt. He loves medical debt. He's like, I go right to America. They have the same long lines. It just costs 5 times as much. He's a real simp for the capitalist class. He loves it. I love those. Mexico does have a... Yo, listen, when I lived on the border of Mexico, you know where people went for the dentist? To Mexico. You know where they went when they needed a prescription filled? To Mexico. That's not a joke. So you're right. I like this channel. I agree with you on a lot. Good. We need more people that can see through the class warfare, see what it really is, that understand that this is not a culture war, this is a class war. Leaper True, appreciate you. I hope you hit subscribe, hope you hit the notification bell and join me every day. This isn't, listen, America got a hero complex. This isn't about heroes. This is about groups of people moving together. Revolutionary optimism means that we see a better day, you know, and that's what I try to explain to people all the time. That when you see these news articles about layoffs and fucking the real fraud that's going on, which is hundreds of millions of dollars, usually by these organized criminals that you know as politicians like Rick Scott, largest billion-dollar Medicare fraud in Florida. And now Rick Scott, aka Slenderman, is a politician in Florida. And I played audio of him testifying in front of Congress saying, who doesn't want to be rich? I still want to trade stocks. This is a fucking criminal. He should be in prison. In other countries, he would have been in. And somehow here, people are like, no, the real fraud is the people trying to get medical treatment. Like, you understand that can't even happen. Like, no patients fucking frauding into what? Fixing their broken leg, getting a wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like, you know who commits the fraud? It's the people charging the Medicare. Look into it. It's so crazy that people are like, yeah, man, all these people getting extra health care all the time. I'm like, do you not fucking, are you new to America? Do you not know how the American system works? They're not handing out medical care. Let me show you the tweet. Let me show you the tweet. Let me show you the tweet. The dude's fucking wife died. Died. Where's the tweet? Hold on. I'll find it. Lay off. No, that's not it. That's not it. Here it is. That's my boy. I love you. Free Luigi. Innocent till proven guilty. Just innocent. Jury nullification. Whatever. Say a bunch of stuff. This tweet. Cigna just sent my dead wife, who succumbed to cancer last August, a denial letter for a test to help her diagnose her tumor markers. What the fuck is even going on with medical insurance companies? She left this world 6 months ago because she couldn't get treatment. We don't hate these people enough. 100%. 100%. Not only do we not hate these people enough, but I agree with the people who retweet or replied to this tweet who said, you know, if I was president, I would give Luigi 10 blank pardons and wish him the best. I don't know. There's not really a way to make people understand that, like, you don't fix this shit. This is the system. There's no fixing this. They're like, dude, we planned on this. This is the plan. This is the plan right here. We got to make him look like a villain so you don't think Cigna's the villain for killing your wife. That's what they did. That's what Cigna did. Because what are you paying insurance for? What are you paying? MAGA, just answer me that. Or the guy who loves Trump so much from Canada. Sorry, loves the pedophile from Canada. What are we paying insurance for? Answer me that. I need someone to answer me that. Healthcare is a human right. Thank you. The system is working as designed. But I want these MAGAs to speak up now. They always like to chirp in at fucking stupid times, but I want you to speak up now. What are you paying Cigna for? What was this guy and his dead wife paying them for? Probably for 10, 20 years. What are you paying Cigna for? What's up, Caleb? Good to see you, man. Of course they're not going to answer because they're chicken shits. I'll tell you what you're paying them for. You're paying them for so you have access to the healthcare system. That's all they do. They don't provide a product. All they do is provide denial letters or fucking long court cases, deny, defend, oppose. That's their whole fucking motto. So you're paying them so you can get access into this healthcare system that they shouldn't be gatekeeping. You understand this? Like, they don't do anything besides middleman. Middleman. That's it. They don't provide a product. They're not the doctor. They shouldn't be fucking doctoring you. And all they do is gatekeep you from the healthcare that humanity. Corporations didn't develop healthcare, okay? They weren't here in the fucking Civil War, and they certainly weren't here in the Revolutionary War, and they weren't fucking here when Grug fucking stubbed his toe and figured you could wrap it with fucking leaves to heal it quicker. Humanity pushed forward healthcare. It's a shared collective that we all invested in, okay? And all these parasites do is keep you from that. So I'll answer the question for you, Magna. They pay so they can get these tumor markers diagnosed. But because that's not profitable for Cigna, they waited till the lady died and then 6 months later sent her denial letter. Free Luigi. Free him. And give him as many pardons as he needs. I worked in insurance. It's all a scam. 100%. I've played doctors on here that are like, listen to me on the phone while I'm trying to get approvals for my patients who are dying, you know? Like, these are the criminals. And the news will never position it like this. And there's a lot of moderates or liberals or Democrats or Republicans, and MAGA is just boot slobbering for these people. But they'll never position this like, this is the criminal right here, Cigna. Identify the criminal in this photo, can you? Smart people will. Smart people don't like Donald Trump. That's his words, not mine. Cigna's the criminal. They kept healthcare from a lady who was dying when she had paid them her whole life to make sure she could have that healthcare. That is fucking criminal. Fight Club in the Discord after chat. Hey, first rule, you don't talk about it. How do we stop these demons then? Great question, Digital Electric Media. I like the name. We organize. We get together. That's what I'm doing here. We're organizing. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We need to first understand that no matter what our differences are, we all want to make sure that, you know, we don't die from fucking things we have cures to. You know, like, we didn't make it to the year of our Lord 2026 so we could be like, I'm still waiting to fucking hopefully get to be seen by a doctor. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Every other country that's similar to ours has guaranteed healthcare as a right. So it's essentially a game of organization. The elite, the Epstein class, they're well organized. That's why I showed you this other tweet. There's news stories about it. I don't want to get into it, but why do you think the Ellisons are buying all of this? They already own Paramount. They're owning all of the news now. Why do you think Elon Musk bought Twitter? Why do you think Facebook, Google, why do you think all those people are Donald Trump's thing? Because they're well organized. You might go, oh, they're a lefty network. They're not. None of them are. They're either hard right, like racist right, like Elon Musk's website, or they're just right. You know what I mean? There's no left space. There's no even Democrats. The Democrats are Republican light. So it's up to the people to push back. That's why you see right now Israel's not as popular as Palestine. You've seen that in the news today. That's why you see the Green Party winning in the UK. That's where you see Mamdani, Democratic Socialist, winning in New York. It's because people organize. People all got together and said, hey, we're all kind of different, right? Yeah. So what makes it great, right? Like, I was at the grocery store earlier, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not the only white dude here. Oh, fucking, that would creep me out, man. You know, I was one of the only white dudes there, and I'm more comfortable like that. That's America to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see a bunch of people that look like, I would think I was in a fucking, like a clip of Children of the Corn or some shit. But you understand that you set aside your differences because we're all humans at the end of the day, except for the Epstein class. Those are a cabal of debaucherous, pathetic, egomaniac, thin-skinned freaks, okay? But the rest of us, what do we want? You want to eat a good meal, watch a good movie, and lay down on the couch, maybe fall asleep, and hopefully not have to work too early, right? And that's the ideal world. That's why I'm pushing for a 3-day work week. That's right, you heard me, 3 fucking days, 5 hours a day, 15-day, full, a 15-hour is full time, 15 hours. And if you think I'm crazy, you know where I got that from? About 100 years ago. There was a guy named Henry Ford and fucking Captain Kellogg or something. They called it cornflake capitalism. And these robber barons of the time thought that in the year 2022, we'd be working 15 hours a week. They thought the technology would be so good that people wouldn't even have to work all the time. That's where I get it from the old robber barons. Read books. And that's what life should be. If you want to fucking play the fife because you read about the Revolutionary War and you're like, you know what, we should bring that shit back. I support that. If you're the kid who said to the news, oh, when you grow up, what do you want to be? And he said, a turtle. I support that. What is the point of worshiping rulers like Dr. Oz that tell you just don't retire? And then Pam Blondie's like, but what about the Dow? How's your retirement doing? When that's mixed messaging. They're telling you don't retire. And they're telling you, but celebrate the Dow. Don't look over here at the Epstein files, celebrate the Dow. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a class war. They're very well organized. They're meant to throw everything at you and confuse that little squirrel brain of MAGAs, you know, and MAGA does get confused. They look like a fucking puppy just hit with a stick, you know. They're like, I don't know, oh, Christy, are you gonna hurt me? You know, Christy Nome, what a fucking scumbag. I can't believe Christy Nome shot her dog and Republicans are like, that's our girl. I'd be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I draw the line at certain things, but these people don't. They have no character, no backbone, no nothing, you know, no ethical, moral boundaries. They'll go wherever they think they can get closer to power. But then there's the rest of us humans that, you know, just want to fucking live, survive. No, we shouldn't be surviving. We should be thriving. That's what I mean. Binary Ghost. Hold on. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Many young boys want to be construction workers, garbage men, police, and firefighters. Imagine how many good people for those trades are pushed into being accountants and crap for the money. Let me speak to that point. You know how many people have been selling shit, right? They're in these like pyramid schemes. They pull up in a van. They're like, we gotta do this display so we can get, so, you know, they're selling knives or vacuums out the back of a fucking truck. And when I see those people, I like to talk to everybody, and I highly encourage you to do this too. I talk to everybody, okay? I hate fucking crowds. I love people, but I talk to everybody. And one time I had to correct this dude because he was being mean to one of the younger girls that was working for him, and he was like, she ain't gonna get paid if she don't do this display. And I said, well, that's fucking illegal. And I was like, you have to get paid. And I said, you look pretty young. You should understand you don't work without getting paid. And if you do, that's just slavery. Is that what is going on here? And the dude was like, hey, man, we're just all trying to get by. And I was like, shut your fucking mouth, man. You look old enough to be her father, and I don't like that you're saying she doesn't get paid. I had a real issue with this dude. But then he was like, well, listen, man, this ain't even my thing. I'm supposed to be, I forget what he said, a psychologist or something. And I was like, then what the fuck are you doing? He said, I can't afford to do it. I have to put in so many hours without getting paid or whatever. And I said, we need people like you. We need those professions. And you're selling vacuums? Like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, hey, man, America. And I was like, no. And that's what I'm talking about. There's so many people that absolutely have a passion. You know, like, I think the right always makes fun of it. Like, you want to go to school for walking cats or whatever? And it's like, yeah, that would be fucking awesome. You know, and it's always the people who have the cushiest jobs, like Jessica Waters. You might know him as Jesse Waters on Fox News. If you don't know, he's the heiress to Better Homes and Gardens. You know that magazine? Jesse Waters. Look it up. I've done my research. I know these rich pricks when I see them. Just like Tucker Swanson Carlson McFlurry or whatever his name is. His mom was the Swanson TV dinner heiress. So these are rich people telling you that your stupid education is stupid. Go get a real job. Get your hands dirty while they're on TV and they've never lifted anything in their life. And this is the shit that really fucking chaps my hide when everyone tells you just to get a trade job. I'm like, trade jobs aren't for everybody. Yeah, they're great paying. Why do you think they're mostly unionized? They don't want to acknowledge that. But the thing is there are people that just want to be a turtle when they get older. And fucking A, if we're the best country in the world, I'll say this till I'm dead. If we're the best country in the world, we should have the coolest fucking adult turtles ever. You know what I mean? We should, like the Portland frogs. Like, we should be so proud of that. We're like, we got a bunch of frogs. What do? I don't know. They're cool and creative. It's the coolest thing I've ever. Does your country have frogs? You know what I mean? Like, that's the land of the free. None of us are free. None of us. You know who is? Jeff Bezos, who bought a $50 million yacht to follow his $750 million yacht. He's free to do whatever the fuck he wants while you work for him and pee in bottles because you're not allowed to take breaks. You know what I mean? This is the future that they have planned for us while they gallivant on Epstein Island. And that's not a joke, that's in the files. That's in the files. In the files is them talking about the class war and how the revolution of the 60s and 70s and that spirit has been defanged with the entertainment of today. It's in the files. You can read it yourself. The rich people are like, these fucking morons, they're going to just keep, we'll just take away their healthcare. Then what are they going to do? And what I'm saying is we organize. We get real organized. That's why I have a Discord. That's why I have this community. Because once you organize and you go, hey, listen, you're whatever. I don't know what chaps your hide. I really don't, because people are so finicky. You know, like for me, it's not religion. It's not who you marry. It's not what you are when you're older. It's not how you express yourself. For me, really what chaps my hide is like, if you sneeze more than fucking 2 times around me, we got issues. We just have issues. Sneezes smell like old bananas. I can't fucking do it. And if you're going to keep sneezing, Jesus Christ, just go outside. You know what I mean? Like, you need to go the fuck outside. What is a sneeze anyways? I'm sorry, but this is my thing. It's like, I could be around any people of anything, but if that fucking person starts sneezing multiple times, I will ask you to leave. I will say, just fuck, please show yourself outside. That is a filthy thing. I don't know what sneezes are. It's your body rejecting something, and it's just germs. It's just gross. It's fucking so gross. And sometimes in a sunny day, you can see the sneeze shooting through the air because it shoots at like 1,000,000 miles per hour. Anyways, I don't mean to get off track, but you know, like, I don't know what chaps your hide, what you're like, hey, we're different because you're a Methodist and I'm a utopiast. You know, I don't get it, but here's the thing. Set that all aside, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you're worshiping, what you're worshiping, who you're worshiping. What matters is that we all have shelter, we all have health care that collectively we develop together, and we all have egg. And once you can understand that, you can see that humanity in other people's eyes, you really start to realize, oh shit, we're getting fucked, man. We're getting fucked because none of us have any of that. Oh, hold on. I'm missing super chaps. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Who threw down a $20? Global solidarity now. Yes. Yes to that name. Yes. Thank you, moderator. Which mod? Let's thank my name. Thank you, moderators. Thank you. Big thank you to the moderators. I love you guys. Keeping the chat nice and tidy. But yeah, I think I can sum all that up in saying global solidarity now. Yes, that's what we need. And this isn't country. This isn't American exceptionalism. You know, we have something to learn from every fucking country. And the sooner you realize that, the better off we'll all be. Binary Ghost. Thank you for the $10. Speaking of Amazon, Amazon was on the verge of having its on-the-ground workforce unionized. Yes, it was. Christian Smalls, love him. The abuses were out in the open. Then Amazon announced they have genderless bathrooms. Everyone clapped. It's a old look over here distraction tactic. It's you know, it's why every Pride Month these companies that, by the way, these companies all donate to Democrats and Republicans. This is the class war. Well, you think like, oh, this company's left-leaning or this company's right-leaning. Like, what you don't understand is they almost all donate to both parties. You can go to opensecrets.org. I've spent too much time there, and now I just hate going there because I'm like, Citizens United allowed them to buy all the politicians they want. So what they do is they bet on black and red, like in Vegas. You ever played roulette? Bet on both colors. You win. And corporations didn't have to think that hard. And they were just like, we'll just buy all of the politicians. So that's why, like, every Pride Month, you see them, you know, a little salute to Pride, in hopes that the people will clap and the masses will fall in line. You go buy a rainbow shirt and fucking all is good at that store. But it's not. You know, they're the ones lobbying against all of your rights. And I don't mean that as somebody who celebrates Pride Month. I mean that as the worker. They don't treat their workers well. You want to fucking celebrate Pride, man? Treat fucking people so they can fucking buy a home. So they can afford egg. This is a fucking class war with classic fucking aesthetic distractions. So sometimes you think, oh, they're just a little bit better than the other corporation. And for the people who are going to say, fucking, if you hate capitalism, get out. Shut the fuck up. We're changing things. Capitalism hasn't been here forever. It's not a fucking ancient Sumerian society. Just shut up. Okay? It's run its course. We're in a collapsing empire. I've played the audio. I'm not doing it again. It's sickening to me that people still boot slobber for these assholes. Oh yeah, sorry, news troll. This is fascism. This is the old great when politics and corporations collide. Fascism. Jesse said after live is done, I will update the Discord link. I don't think Solus is here. He usually grabs the Discord for me. Actually, hold. Give me 1 second, Jesse. I'll do it right now. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Are we still working? Wait, can I chat? Oh god damn it! I can't chat. Oh, I can't chat. Can I not chat? I can't chat. Hold on. Pin to live stream. How do I do that? Oh no, now I really need Solus. I really need Solus. How do I? Yeah, I will, Edward. I was trying to, Edward, are you part of the Discord? Who's in the Discord that's here? Is Jess still here? Because somebody can grab the link. I'll do it right after, I promise, Jess. I'm so sorry. I thought I could chat. I can't even chat. How do I chat? Why can't I chat, guys? Why can't I chat? All this free speechers who are like, you silenced me. Well, how do you think I feel, guys? I can't even chat. Oh, God. Freezing again. Hold on. Is it working now? Is it working now? Ah, am I frozen? I'm frozen. Is it frozen? Is it frozen? Is it frozen? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Fine on my end. Okay, thank you, Binary. Okay. You're not. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Jesse, I will, because I have the link. I just can't put it in the chat. I'm so sorry. And I clearly didn't update it. I wonder if I can do it through here. By the way, this is one of my favorite artists here on YouTube, BUNKBED COFFIN. I'm just going to play some of this while... what did I play earlier? What was the song I played earlier? Oh, this one. This is BUNKBED COFFIN. Oh, I know. Write it on paper? No, it's like a weird link. You gotta get... I'm gonna see if I can tweak it out real... Oh, I'm not logged into my thing. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? Oh, I can't. By the way, the BUNKBED COFFIN link is in the description. He's an amazing artist. I call him New Grunge, so you can find him in the description. Yes, music. It's always music from artists that are a collective of people I've talked to here on YouTube. So Smokin' Blondie, we've played her music. Sometimes BUNKBED COFFIN will swing into the chat, and then Us First Them, who I played on here, I got their blessing. I wrote them on YouTube, and they said, okay, I want to show you guys local YouTube artists that you guys can support too. Jesse, I can't do it from here. Okay, you said it's okay, we'll figure it out. Okay. I promise, as soon as I wrap up, I have the link. I'll save it, just go right to the description. Or you know what? I'll do you one better, because this video might not be uploaded. I'll switch it in yesterday's video. So if you go to yesterday's video, which I know is uploaded, the Discord link will be in there. Let's connect. Classical paintings are cool. Surreal when you can still make out what it should be is cool. Bunch of paint splatters as art is just lazy to me. Not a fan of Picasso, huh? There is an art to it though. Well, Picasso was more than just splatter art. We should do that. We should talk about art here. That's what we should do. We should do a live stream with the community and talk about. Don't forget poverty cosplay. I'll tell you what. I brought a pen down here. Cause I ain't forgetting that. Thank you, White Dove Sam. Amazing. Amazing that you dropped that at the end. Cubism is surrealism. Yeah, my favorite is Impressionism. Picasso did a little bit of all those things throughout his career. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, he was an artist. Picasso was amazing. And when you study the artist and you see their forms and shapes and how intentional they draw lines, I know that sounds stupid. It really brings a new height to the artwork they've created. And would you want your elderly neighbors or young couples with little ones or single parents to go into debt because they needed fire, police, or EMT? What do you think property taxes cover? Long hair hippie, what's up, man? What's up? I think Picasso is overrated. I find more art in a wooden bowl carved in Korea. That is true. That's an art form too, man. Don't discount that. But listen, people, there's this one, I forget what it is. It's some French impressionist, I forget. The impressionist, I don't care who it is. All the impressionists. The way they did that shit, when you like start to read about these impressionists going out into a field and basically doing a photograph of what life was carrying on about them, but they were doing it with such small intentioned strokes. I can't comprehend it. Forever and a day, I'll want to be an impressionist. See, that's why we need Rob disrespect Philly. I never will. Don't try to goat me into that. Rob, I give Philly the utmost respect. I've only been there a couple times. Once was to buy the beer. What's the Philly beer? What is that fucking Philly beer? I don't drink, but a long time ago. What is the Philly beer? No, not. What beer is Golden Monkey? No. This was in the 90s. I drove all the way to Philly to get this beer. Couldn't believe it, because I think they sold at the border too. Indie News Network has a member, Jesse Jett, that performs music for the channel. Well, Global Solidarity, I'm still a very small channel, but that is the goal. To get Smoke and Blondie, to get BUNKBED Coffin, to get all the artists, Us First Them. They just did an interview with the People's Core. If you want to check out that interview, very cool interview. But that's the goal, to get a studio set up, nice studio setup, and also have a studio for artists when we have them in, have that, have a feed in there and have them play us in, play breaks, play us out. That is the goal. And then have it set up where we, instead of Jesse having to go through this Discord thing, we just set it up where she could just Zoom in or whatever the kids are doing now. Is Skype still a thing? No, I think they missed they missed the boat. They missed the boat on that one. But that's cool. Indie News Network, I'll have to check them out. If you don't watch Status Coup News, that's a good one. You think you found the Discord? Awesome. I'm going to switch the links anyways. I'm going to update them to just make sure. But if you found the Discord, you'll see me in there. I got a little crow avatar, I think. Or if you'll know the Discord, it says support your local and it's a crow. Get it? But here, we're gonna, I message on the chat. You can, here, you know what? We'll wrap it up, because if you found the Discord, I'll just go in there and if I see, drop something in the chat and then we can DM and we'll get connected and then we can set up whenever. Lulu, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves everybody. That's the beautiful thing about Jesus. He didn't care what religion you were. Read the Samaritan parable. It was more about just helping people. And he defined people that followed him. You know, that's the misnomer that a lot of Christian Americans think is like, you just have to declare you believe in Jesus. Like Michael Scott declared bankruptcy. And the truth is that's not true. You can declare you believe in Jesus all you want, but Jesus says once you do that, and your heart truly changes, you actually follow my lead. You follow my example. You imitate me. And a lot of them aren't doing that. So just beware. Beware of the den of vipers. But I agree with you. Jesus loves everybody, man. He didn't judge anybody. From the witches to the Cthulhu worshippers to the spaghetti monster heads. Not so much the Scientologists and any kind of oppressors like the Pope and his Catholic empire of Christianity. But, you know, the people who are doing his work. Let's discuss something. Channel gives excellent updates on news if needed. Global solidarity now. You're the real deal with the global solidarity. Yo, you're letting me in. Hold on. Let's discuss. Hold on. Let's discuss something. And what was the other one? INN? Indie News. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, and this is what it's about. Sharing information. That's the other part of organizing. Keeping everybody informed. White Dove Sam, good to see you. Cage Shadow Man, empathy equals equality equals peace. The only ideology he ever taught. True. This is just the truth. People don't want to recognize that because I subscribe to the old Spider-Man motto. Spider-Man's uncle. With great power comes great responsibility. And anybody who's gonna, you know, teach religion and use it for power, you have to have that responsibility. And most of them aren't tied to the responsibility part. All right, guys. I got to jump over to the Discord. I thank everybody for being here. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. It's one of the best ways you could support the channel. And like Global Solidarity now is sharing a bunch of cool channels that I will check out and hopefully I'll get to use as reference sources here on the show. Share this with people that you think are waking up or maybe need to see through the veneer, this facade of capitalism, or just share it with anybody that, you know, you want to join this movement. Because this is a movement. And that's why I was referencing Valenti earlier, Hassan earlier. Those are much bigger channels, but even small channels like me can help, you know. I've organized in real life. I've spent 20 years on the radio, and I'm not going to shut up now. And I don't care if it's one person here or a million here. The message stays the same. It's all power to the people. Is anyone older than a millennial aware? Instant iced coffee. That's a good question. And I honestly wonder that sometimes. But, you know, I've debated this with people, and I just think that the boomers, not so much Gen X. I think some of Gen X just became too jaded. But I think the boomers don't understand that the world is so foreign from what they don't understand it till it happens to them. Let me say that, because we played a boomer earlier, a Gen X, older Gen X boomer earlier, who is now starving to death because Donald Trump cut all the SNAP benefits. And that's really the sad thing. That's what I'm trying to propagate here. The seeds we're planting are, don't let it have to happen to you for it to be unacceptable. You know what I mean? And not just with people going hungry or losing their houses or can't afford rent or can't afford egg. Like, I want you to think it not only pertains to those things, but it pertains to the people in power that are graping kids. The president and his whore of a wife, you know? Like, just because it didn't happen to you, you shouldn't be like, well, you know, it didn't happen to me. I wasn't that stupid, or whatever the fucking take is. Like, it just shouldn't have to happen to you. People with character will hear this message because they go, yeah, I get it. I have character. I stand for something. So I understand that an injustice to one is an injustice to all. If you violate one person's constitutional rights, they're not rights anymore. They're privileges, but you violated all of ours. And that's a message more people need to understand. I don't know if they're too myopic or if they're just, I don't know. And this is the great confuddling thing about America right now, is we're dealing with a much, much undereducated population. So we got our work cut out for us. But as George Bush once said, no child left behind. Oh, that was kind of creepy. I feel like that might have been the motto for Epstein Island, too. Eee. Anyways, started watching the noisy immigrant talking about capitalism and its issues, and Origins of America. Need to research it, but sounded plausible. Listen, I love hearing new stuff. It's wild because as Gen X, we were taught to believe anything, and now we don't believe a damn thing. Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you for everybody who joined. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for becoming a member. Was Phoenix Legends. Phoenix Legends, new member. Binary Ghost, thank you for the super chats, and thank you for finally subscribing. That's rad. I thought you were a subscriber. It's free. It's free, guys. It's free, and it helps the channel so much. So if you could subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm here every single weekday, sometimes on the weekend, because it's a class war. There's a class war going on. That was all the news I showed you. The people who are lying under oath, they're doing it because they're going, we're the Epstein elites. That's what Howard Nutlake is saying. He's like, I'm one of the elite. We don't get prosecuted. We'll throw you in jail for stealing from Walmart. You'll serve a life sentence, and if you're in a southern state, you'll probably do slave labor. But us, we'll do much worse crimes, and nobody will prosecute us. They're telling you to your faces. That's why they lie under oath. That's why they value nothing besides greed. I'm trying to show this to you so we can all get together and go, okay, we're ready. Gen X was also left home alone instead of having babysitters. We were the latchkey kids, Edward. That's what America's so funny with developing words for stuff. They called us latchkey kids. And you know what's even funnier, Edward? If you get a minute later, look up I forget what it was called. There was like some nightly news special on the generation of latchkey kids. And it showed all these kids getting home from school, and it was just the reporter there. And this reporter was like interviewing like 12-year-olds. And she was like, so you just come home from school? And he's like, yeah, my mom's at work. I make dinner for me and my little sister. And usually we wrap up around 9 and go to bed. And it was like these little kids in the 80s and 90s that were just adults. Because, at that point, Reagan had deregulated everything, broke up the unions, fucking fed the stock market whatever it wanted. And basically all the parents had to just start working full time and the kids had to raise themselves. It was a fascinating fucking historical capsule. So if you get a chance, it's on YouTube because that's where I watched it. But the funniest thing to me was like these kids literally came home from school and there was just a news crew there. There were no parents to be found. And the news crew was like, so what do you do? And he's like, I make a snack. I tell my little sister hold all my calls, and I usually play a game of Mario Brothers before we got to do homework. And these kids were like so responsible. And they were like, and your mom is? And they were like, I don't know. She works till like midnight and then gets up in the morning and work. I haven't seen my mom in like 40 years. And I'm like, that was the beginning of the end. That's really when they knew that we were, suckers to fall for this class war thing and think it was a culture war. And that's when they really started hyper exploiting us. We are the generation of FAFO. Yeah, we're on the find out phase, but I just got a feeling that it's not going to be so much finding out for us. Once we realize there's more of us than there are of them. Remember that. That's why they're called the 1%. That's why they're so invested in buying up all the media. Why do you think, I really want you to think about this, right? Why do you think they're so invested in owning all the media? They'll tell you, free market, free market, free market. But why do you think they want to own everything you read, hear, and fucking watch? Why? What would the interest be? What do you think? They're going to create the best new hit show ever? I don't know. They're doing a lot of reboots. They're cutting out movies for tax causes. Their actions wouldn't align with them wanting to produce the best content ever. I really want you to consider why the Ellisons, Trump's good friends, want to own all of the media. Why? What is their purpose in that? What is their intent? Think about that. It's an easy answer. They want to control the narrative. They want to manipulate you. They're hoping that you'll buy it because it's a trusted source. This guy wears a tie and sits in a nice studio. And that guy on YouTube, he wears a hoodie and a do-rag. And man, you shouldn't trust him. Like, that's what it is. That's my other advice, start a YouTube channel. Report from your neck of the woods. This is important right now. It's vital, in fact. Build community. Organize. Talk to your neighbors. This is how we fight back. Because there's a lot of people that just don't want to be in the know, or just were fed bullshit like Fox News, CBS, Paramount, anything they own, Twitter. There's a lot of psychological operations to persuade the masses that shit's all good. Did you see the State of the Union? I watched the clips. Really? Everything's booming? Have you not seen any of the job numbers? Did you not read that they're going to refund tariffs to the corporations who didn't pay the tariffs? You did? It's surreal how they'll lie to your face, and there are certain people, by the way, that just a few short years ago were like, I trust nothing about the government. And just a few short years later, they're like, I love this government. I trust them with everything. Have some goddamn self-respect. My stocks are going up. That's great. What do you own? 20 of them? You know who's really making out with a bandit, like a bandit? BlackRock. I'm ready to fight back more than ever. I was born in one of the worst families in America. So much tea. It's amazing. Well, see, that's a beautiful thing. Pink Fur is here. Pink Fur, can you chat? Can you chat? I'm sorry to get distracted. Pink Fur, the other night you weren't in here. I want to make sure you could write in the chat. If not, I got some work to do to figure out what's going on. Hopefully you can say something. I'll wait and see. But yes, amazing. Okay, I think Pink Fur, I said this the other day. I think the chat was glitched. Alma's here. What's up, Alma? Der Pilger channel reports on protests in Germany. That's the other thing I love. I love the YouTubers from around the globe. Because if you've never seen Europe protest, they do it right. They do it right. The French protest, I was following this American living in France, getting her French citizenship. And she was not filming the protests, but having to go through them. And it was beautiful. Someone should do a impressionist painting of protests across the world. That's what I would do. If I could pursue my dream, I would probably become an impressionist painter and paint protesters across the world, like the frogs, the French. That would be amazing. That would be like the medieval art today, but in 100 years, People would hang it in museums and be like, this was the protest of 2026. I agree. I was talking with a customer about how 10 plus years ago, most Americans had distrust of the government. I know. Now you find a lot of those Americans saying, I love the government. I love the government. Stocks went down today. Okay, so Jesse, that's what you're saying. You're ready to fight back. That's the other thing that I think is so fascinating. There's so many younger folks that witnessed it firsthand that are like, I don't even need to fuck around to find out. I've witnessed it. And you have a testimony that more people need to hear. You know what I mean? And not even as spilling tea, just your own genuine story. And I mean that. I use my story to share. Well, not on here. I can't tell. There's certain things that YouTube won't let me say, and I know that for a fact. So I can't really tell my story. Maybe I'll do that maybe I got to start. Can you go live on Patreon? Maybe I'll start a Patreon so I could go live and be totally uncensored. But Jesse, your testimony to your life and what you've witnessed is the most powerful thing you can do. I'm a painter. I'll do you a painting. Oh my God. If you do me a painting, we'll throw it up here. Hell yes. See, this is a friend of mine's painting. Most of my artwork is not store-bought. I try to find local artists, small artists, friends of friends, or my own, or family members. I have family members. The two pieces of art I have down here that are professional. One is Thomas Hovedin's, John Brown's. It's a John Brown painting by Irish artist Thomas Hovedin, and the other one is Harriet Tubman's Underground Railroad by, I believe, Paul Collins, who might have been Irish too. I'm not sure. Oh, damn, really, Jesse? Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. I lost my dad at a young age too. That pain is unbearable. Hell yeah, badass art collection. All right, somebody knows what's up. All right, I'm gonna go into the Discord. I thank you guys so much for joining me. It's always fun to catch up with everybody. I love this community. I'm not Gen X Booner. I'm definitely Gen Z Gen X. You mean millennial Gen X? We're called Zennials. We're a sub. Just so you understand this, the 78 to 85 birthdays are a subset of the generations. They call us Zennials because we were raised with no computers and Atari to AOL Online to what we have today, the oligarchy of technology. What's up, Caterpillars? I'm good to see you, man. See, I fucking love this community. The elite of subs. The lost generation. Yeah, they've also called us that. Hobo Johnson was not a hobo. He wasn't. But what happened to him? Peach Scones? Where's that guy now? Come on. Myopic is accurate, I think. Yeah, I would say. 2-Bit Bally Song. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate you. And it's good to have you in this community. This is a rad community. I'll tell you what, this is a rad community. All different kinds of people, all different kinds of beliefs, but there's one thing we can unite under, and that's fucking, we don't stand down to bullies, and we don't bend the knee to tyrants. We just want food, shelter, clothes. We're done surviving. We want to thrive. And these oligarchs have too much and just want more. Millennials go later than that. 64 to 78 is Gen X. 78 to 83. No, millennials go way farther than that, Edward. Trust me, I've had long debates and looking up this stuff. The 78 to 85, and sometimes they say like 75 to 83, they call those Zennials, ex-millennial, because it's on the cusp of both. But then technically it was like 81 or 82 to 90-something was millennials. Mid-90s? I forget. It was something in the 90s, I think. And that's why I would make the joke, instead of calling myself a Zennial, I would make the joke as an elder millennial. Because there's a lot of, till Y2K, 81 to 96. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's something like that. And boomers are 46 to 64. See, that's the craziest thing, because I think, when was Cobain born? That's always what trips me out, because I thought he was Gen X, but when you start looking into it, I think Cobain was born in the boomer era, which is, it destroys me. But just curious, how many times have you said goodbye? And on that note, Gen X is 72 to 80. Yeah, and Kurt was born in 60-something. I forget. Yeah, they used to break it down into 20-year periods, and now it's gone. Now it has subsections of generations. That's what I mean. It's like they made it so fucking weird. But I think the technology fucked that up, you know? All right. As Global Solidarity now said, it is time for me to say goodbye. All power to the people. Don't take no shit from tyrants. Always stand up to bullies and just love your neighbor, man. You know, If somebody just wants to take hula dancing for a living or start a jazzercise thing, support them. That's beautiful. We need more creative people like that. Okay? And paint a picture, hug somebody, watch something you love. Just treat yourself tonight. Just take some time to enjoy something you like. Don't feel bad about letting your boss's emails go. Don't feel bad about any of that shit. You're not going to when you come to meet your maker, whoever or whatever that may be. So just take a moment to enjoy life. That's really it. Okay? That's what we all need, and the elites have too much of it. They had so much of it. They did the Epstein Island stuff, where we just want to fucking conversate and enjoy fucking life, you know? A 100%. And I'll go jump in the Discord. Give me a minute. I gotta shut this down, take the dog out, and I'm gonna go get in that Discord, Jess or Jesse. I don't know if people call you Jess, if I'm allowed to do that yet. That's why I don't call Cash Patel Cash, because his name is Cash App, and I don't know that bitch, nor do I want to. All power to the people, guys. Peace.